now live.
Everything's perfect. We are now live. Hello.
Woohoo!
All right, there we go. We did it.
John, walk across, no problem.
Just don't bump anything. Just don't bump anything, John,
Yes.
as you're scooching around doing official things.
Hi, Katie. Hi, Fred.
Hi.
Cindy. Everybody else is joining us. Hello.
So the plan is, this is Knack Entertainment. We're doing our live episode
Yes.
of what we're watching. So we're going to be talking about the Oscars. We're just getting the final set of everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Thank God I have glasses on because honestly, I could no way read. I'm like, oh, hi, Stella. Hi, Maria. Debbie. I would have not have a clue if I couldn't
my
actually.
phone hasn't even told me to join yet.
You're unnotified?
No,
Where is it? Where is it?
refresh it? I mean, this is sometimes you're just not good at this type of stuff.
How dare you? Oh my God.
Liz, it says right there. You need glasses.
I don't know what I was looking for.
Oh, my
I guess.
goodness.
Okay, there. Now I see us.
Oh, my
Okay,
goodness.
first of all, I want to thank you for the styling. Liz styled me.
Yes, yes.
So she put me in some jewels and something very sparkly. I had to roll up my sleeves because my computer, I was making all sorts of crazy noises because it was banging against the keyboard. It was.
You
It
were not
was.
like Auntie Mame. I mean, give me a break.
Well, there's a thing hanging down that was clanging.
Right. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Wow. Uh-oh, you got it.
Nope. I don't want to be live.
Everybody's phone's volume has to get turned down.
Well, I think she accidentally went live too. So,
Yeah, get me out of there, Ed.
ooh, I love the echo.
What I love is literally it will not let me get out of it.
It's important that you're in and on.
Oh, wait. You know what I don't want? Here, we don't need all these.
Oh, yes, this is very tacky. Get rid of that.
Oh, thank God I'm gone. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, it was lovely to have you for a moment, even though it was causing all sorts of technical problems.
Right,
That
exactly.
was great.
Okay. Oh, hi, Kirk. Joined too. Okay.
Oh, lovely. Well,
Who's for Libra love? I'm a Libra. Hello, fellow Libra.
oh, that's cool.
I know. I like that name. And Betsy and RM 13.88.
Love it. Love it.
That is a year I graduated from one level of school. Now, was that grade school? Was that high school? Was that college?
It's a mystery. We don't need to. We don't need to say.
Yeah, I'm like, we don't have to actually factually state the actual date of 88 relates to me. Hi, Caitlin.
It did come up, though.
Yeah, it came up for a moment and then we lost it, our second camera. So
Yes.
we apologize for the technical issues. We are trying to iron them out because we definitely want to be able to see the guys during this whole shenanigan.
All right. Now we got it.
Oh.
Now I think we got it.
All right, that'd be exciting.
There's going to be
All right.
another camera.
There's
on
some
the
buzzing
live.
happening.
Great. Okay, nobody touch anything. It's working.
I think we fixed it.
Okay, great. So once we get John into place, we'll do a little round of intros.
Yeah, we'll do our official start.
All right.
We're
It's
going
funny,
Brady Bunch on this.
Because there's we're totally going Brady Bunch on this.
We just need someone who just pops into the middle.
for Alice. Boop.
Hi,
go.
Maya. Hi, Robin. Jack Fogg. Little Jack Fogg. joined.
Jack. Hi, Jack.
Everything looks great.
Yeah, John, why don't you hop into place? I think.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, it looks good. Looks good. You guys are a little dark.
Ignore
over
the
there.
man walking through frame right now.
Who was that? It's a mystery. It's John.
Yes. So we should do a little more like a formal
Like
round.
the real start of the podcast.
Well, sure.
I mean, look, I'm gonna
Live
The
is
podcast
live,
usually
people.
starts.
What's that? We're going live, people.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
So some things might go wrong.
Well, all of this is all going to get repurposed and posted on YouTube, our Knack Entertainment
Yep.
YouTube channel. So this episode, and of course, all of our episodes live on YouTube, so you can go and watch all of those. We talk about a lot of the Oscar-nominated / winning categories on our podcast on YouTube, and of course, actual podcast. You could just listen to it as a podcast, but then
Right.
you don't get to see us
Exactly.
being goofy.
Okay, so let's do a little round table.
I'm being so goofy over here.
Okay, so let's do a little round table.
A round table. Okay, so officially, we usually start with, hi, and welcome to What We're Watching. It's Katherine.
And Liz.
And Ed.
And John.
Okay, so that's how we start.
And this is a special edition to cover the Oscars, the 96th Oscars.
Yeah, the 96
Six Oscars.
Oscars. Perfect.
Now, just for all of you, especially on the West Coast, we have already watched it here on the early feed, so there might be spoilers.
Right, because it aired simultaneously, or simulcast is the term, at 4 o'clock here. So we watched the 4 o'clock to, I don't even know when it ended.
It was long.
It was long. But it's also re-airing. So theoretically, people could have waited on the West Coast to watch it a little bit later.
I think if we were doing this, I would have waited. 4 o'clock was like a real wrench in the middle of the day, but they need to do that for East Coast. Otherwise, all of our East Coast, fans that we love you, I mean, you'd be up till midnight.
Forget it.
Well, if you're watching us now, you are up super late. So there you go.
I mean, I thought it was the perfect time to watch The Color Purple. So I didn't watch.
I knew it. I even predicted. I said they're not. Wait a minute. You really did not watch?
Not one single solitary second.
Then it's all. Oh my God.
But you know who won all the categories, right? Did you do some research?
Some of them, yeah.
Okay. Hi, Jacob bitching. Humanity, human family. All right. Awesome. By the way, we are a group of brothers and sisters. This is about half the size. We have 4 other siblings, so we're a large family, but this half is in the entertainment industry.
Yes.
Okay, so
we do this
That's
together.
why we love this, and we discuss what we're watching. So Jimmy Kimmel was the host this year.
Oh, I thought he did great.
I thought he did great. Looked snazzy, looked very in shape, made a joke kind of in the opening montage with Barbie, how he's had to diet for this role. So there you go.
The opening montage or opening monologue?
Well,
Because I missed it. I was here getting set up for this, so I got home and I could only catch the live broadcast. I'm like, oh, I actually don't want to watch this live. I got to vote. Quick. I know some editor won. Shit.
I think it was.
Wait. Hold on one second. Okay, so we all did Oscar ballads. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
You did your ballad like
an hour and a half into the show. I'm like, I haven't watched
That
anything.
doesn't count.
I was here completely not connected to the universe, went home, voted, and then turned it on.
I believe him. I think his votes are valid.
Same with me. I mean, I was watching my final contender, The Color Purple, and then I did my ballot, and then it was 7 p.m. and the Oscars were over.
I mean, I actually really loved Color Purple, but it was not
It was
nominated for almost anything, John.
Well,
But he still
it
needed to
was
watch
nominated
it.
for something, so that's why I wanted to watch
Well,
it.
wait, before we get on topic.
Kathy Delgado.
Oh, hi, Kathy Delgado.
And Cafe hi, Orlo. It just went to pass me. Sorry, I saw something
Orleans.
Cafe. Orly, thank you.
No, I have no idea. I'm not looking
Cynthia,
at anything.
Ah!
hi, everybody. I don't know. It passed. I just, when the screen goes up and you can't see it anymore, so I couldn't
True.
see it.
I just wanted to double check. John, did you watch all of the nominated categories? Because some years you do that. You watch every single thing that's nominated.
I've only achieved that once. No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
I did cover many of the major categories. I missed the one that was a single in cinematography. And then I think it's song. I missed one, and then many of the engineering type categories.
Okay.
Holy
And,
moly.
like,
Okay.
documentaries. I didn't get all those. I think I watched 8 in the last 36 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay. But
That's why you haven't
commitment.
answered my texts. No, I'm just kidding.
That's absolutely true. There was one that came through that I was like, I don't care right now. I need to finish Color Purple right now.
I mean, I can't. Okay. So Jimmy Kimmel was the host.
Okay, yeah,
Or
so-
if you're watching right now, he is the host.
He is the host. So because
But we're the hosts.
We're going to be talking about the show itself as well as everything that won, and but it's funny that you could not watch the show, the actual Oscars.
Yeah, we'll just
but still
tell you.
talk
Like
about
I
the
said,
Oscars.
Oh, Betsy, we're going to get to that because I totally
what?
agree, Betsy.
Oh, what'd she say? I didn't see.
There was a surprise, and I think it was an upset. Okay, so I love the montage of movies kind of from the year that they open up with. It sort of reminds you and gets you excited. And Jimmy Kimmel, I think, did such a great job sort of reminding us, like, this was a challenging year with the strikes, right? So therefore, it's like that they produced this content, was amazing.
Well, I think the strike mostly impacted their ability to go out and promote these movies, so that it had
right.
such a good year, Hollywood. Even though,
that people either knew about it or saw it.
yes,
And I will say a lot of that for big box office and the movie theaters, which we love, was the Barbie Oppenheimer. You know,
yeah.
That was the big one. Like, hey, everybody, go back to the theaters. They're there. it's a fun thing to do. Remember, please go. Yeah. And then that carried more films.
It was a cultural push.
But that
everybody
was
being excited
during the strikes. Barbenheimer was during the strikes.
Yeah, and a lot of the publicity was then generated by people, right? Because it was I think was it Oppenheimer that was the day or two before the strike, so they were on a red carpet and then literally
did not
immediately after that no one could promote. And often in entertainment shows, they do the interviews beforehand. So a lot of those were able to be done beforehand and then used to promote that they were out, these movies, but then they couldn't do any more promotion.
Yeah, but, like I said, Barbie and Oppenheimer kind of reinvigorated the box office. People going to the theater. Jimmy Kimmel addressed that, and he thanked, basically the Teamsters and the unions and everybody that backed them.
That was great.
Made a funny jab at the directors, but lighthearted, very fun.
Yeah, the DGA, they resolved their strike very, very quickly. Yeah.
So, and then a nice shout out to Greta and basically by
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie for Barbie did not get the recognition that they thought they were going to get in this Oscar season.
Or just based on how successful and, embraced it was as a project, that they felt like there should have been more nominations.
And then he worked the crowd. And, he had some moments that, he did I think the Robert Downey Jr. moment went just one joke too far.
Yeah, it was I cringed it a little bit. But it was a bit much.
But that's the thing about Robert Downey Jr. He can take a joke. He just rolls with it.
He was good humored.
He was great.
He's Iron Man.
Yeah.
Oh, Ed. Yes, exactly.
Was he wearing the bald cap?
He was not. He was
No.
not.
No.
Okay.
Why isn't that the thing? Why aren't the Oscars
They should be-
in character?
Yes, please.
Hello? Yes, we know.
You mean
all
having
new
them sit there in
costumes, all new-
costumes?
Yeah, hell, I want to see it.
It's a horrendous
That would be
idea,
amazing.
but
I mean, depending on the role you played, that could be really problematic.
What if you
Or
did
difficult to do,
costume
yeah.
changes through the entire movie or the entire performance of the Oscars?
I mean, honestly, it's kind of a genius idea, but like I said, you may not love it as an actress.
Oh, no. I'm
because,
sure.
the fashion, that's one of the big things always with the Oscars, and, the ladies in the gowns, and the men are definitely getting a little more adventurous with the tuxedos.
Sure.
There were a lot of brooches. I mean, a lot of diamond
there?
brooches.
Did you
on
want to
men's
talk about
lapels.
it? Do you need to broach the subject?
Okay, for those of you who don't know, Ed is a master punner, so
A master punner? A master of
We are
puns?
live, so I appreciate that.
that didn't sound like it was not supposed to sound like, did it? I don't know, did it? I think that was okay. Oh my gosh.
She didn't mean it in any kind of inappropriate way. She really was just trying to say he's very good at making puns.
Yes, exactly.
That is all. That is all.
That's all I'm saying. And I liked how they showed Jodie Foster and Robert De Niro. They've been nominated in 1976.
Wait, you guys can't have secrets. This is live. This is live.
It's text stuff. It's just so that if someone's cursing at us, one of us has the ability to kick them out. Right now, we're unmoderated people.
We're unmoderated. Oh, God.
It's an unmoderated live.
I don't know if we generate that type of crowd,
That type of content.
but anything can happen.
Anything could happen.
So I do think
people could get inappropriate.
yeah,
You
I
might get
love seeing
inappropriate.
Jodie Foster there.
Oh, first of all, I love Jodie Foster. So I thought she looked amazing.
Yeah.
And she had some great little moments where they taught what?
she needed a headband and Ray-Bans. Come on.
Oh, as the costume.
Yes.
I actually thought she looked great, and she looked what is age appropriate, right? I mean, she just looked like, she hadn't been pulled to suck to the gods. She looked appropriate. So I think it's that to me, was impressive.
Yeah, she
very
looked good.
happy. So
She looked really good.
Yeah.
Well, because you're mentioning her because Jimmy Kimmel referenced her during his monologue.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a really good monologue.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and he mentioned the whole AI issue that is probably,
Did he, or did we think he did?
Yeah, it was him. No. So I did think him addressing that the AI, although it was one of the issues they battled down in the union negotiations, it's a common people. So to what level, what degree, I don't know. It was an awesome surprise. One of my favorites as the announcer, David Alan Grier.
Yeah, I didn't recognize his voice at first, and then he swooped out to they had him backstage saying, I forget who it was with, where they initially showed who it was, and I was like, oh my God. Now I cannot unhear. Of course, it's David Alan Grier. I mean, but I didn't recognize him at first.
he shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, granted, a lot of the presenters are often the winners from the year before, but he was in a nominated movie that I just watched today, The Color
Oh my gosh,
Purple. Come on.
The Color Purple again.
Just watched
okay.
today.
Like I said, I loved Color Purple. It wasn't a nomination for Best Picture or Best Director.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. We're just on the same page. All right. So I thought Jimmy Kimmel did a nice, quick opening, did a couple jabs, little send-ups, kept it moving, which is good.
And in general, kept it really positive.
Because obviously in this last year, I don't want to bring up a pop culture moment, but like the Joe Coy hosting did not go well. So there's been sort of a course correction of like, let's keeping, even keel, steady the ship, just get it through. So
Yeah, you don't need to be
Lana.
controversial.
So I just think, that is important. He did a great job. So you know what I always think is crazy? And like I said, if you're watching on the East Coast, this has already been announced. We're fine. We're not doing a spoiler alert with this one. Best Supporting Actress is the first award. So
it always is.
So
but
I always
it's weird.
feel like, oh my gosh, like what would you do if you lose, you're just sitting there for so long.
It's a long show.
You're sitting there for so long. So it's the first award, Best Supporting Actress. Now, this was sort of a stacked category, but there was a front runner that seemed to have all the momentum. I think she won the Golden Globe and won the categories. She might have won the SAG. I mean, you just took the speed and the whole momentum of it. And so who's going to announce the winners? Like who?
We can just take turns. First, I'll do this one because I want to also mention that they did something sort of interesting with the presenters. Okay, so it's first of all, again, spoiler, if you don't already know, it was the first category, and Best Supporting Actress went to Davine Joy Randolph, who we all love.
From the Holdovers.
From the Holdovers. That was what the win was, but we love her from all sorts of other things. We were very excited that she won. And as Liz has said, she was winning a lot of other awards, so it felt like it was a good bet.
She's who I voted for because I felt like it was a sure bet.
Say, somebody has to tally up our ballots that we did. I did mine this afternoon, so I at least did it before the show.
Yeah, I probably won.
I probably won.
I'm very advanced. I have technological skills. I used last year's programming and reset it for this year, and your ballots automatically calculate.
Okay,
that.
I sent you an email with that information 2 minutes before we started this live.
Perfect.
You can open
I did not read that.
Live on Instagram.
Hi, Len. Hi, Amanda. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. So what I'm hoping is, as we're going through, will one of you take the reins and be in charge of updating who got it right, who got it wrong, who, that
it's all algorithmed out. He's got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so
when you vote, I then go back and actually put all the answers in. So
I understand.
It tells me if you got it right or wrong.
I understand that you have the statistics. I'm saying one of you is going to chime in and tell us. That's what I'm saying.
It can be Ed. Okay, great.
Okay, great. It's going to be
so,
Ed. Okay.
They did something different than they've done any other year.
Yeah, they had 5 presenters for this category of previous winners of Best Supporting Actress. So it was Jamie Lee Curtis, Lupita Nyong'o, Regina King, Rita Moreno, and Mary Steenburgen.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really interesting way. And each one of them did like a love letter to each.
I mean, it was a little too intense.
Wasn't it? It was a little intense.
Because you're sitting there and they normally play clips and you can just sort of relax and watch the clip.
No.
This was like, Jamie Lee Curtis
your eyes.
would and she's so intense at this anyway, so she would turn and she'd be like, Divine, your performance touched our souls. It brought it to us another level. And the camera is right in your face.
I know.
So of course, Divine's sitting there don't cry, don't cry.
Well, she did cry a little bit.
Keep it together because you haven't even gotten up yet if you're going to win or lose. So it's like you're trying to keep it together. And it was kind of intimate.
Yeah, it was.
But it worked.
I thought it worked very well, but it was very different than what they normally do because it was like a little mini speech of how awesome each person was and how moving their performance was, right? And it was also, I don't want to say because the whole thing was long, but it was like, wow, this really made it also much longer because they did it for all 4 of the acting categories. So it was both of the supporting and both of the main categories for Best Actor and Actress. It was like, that's a lot. That's like 5 mini, speeches.
It was very different, but I loved it.
I will say this, because I didn't catch all of those again. I only caught what I could catch live. And I'm like, I'm inferring that they did this for all of them. Oh, that was a good move. Only the actors and actresses. Don't have 10 directors get up.
No.
Good move.
No.
Yeah.
We needed performances because these were very like they were delivered very passionately. So you needed that level of performance. So her speech was great. She was very thrilled. She cried. It was heartwarming.
She was fantastic. She mentioned how great her publicist was, but then she forgot to mention the name of the publicist.
Yes.
Which at first I thought she did say it, and we were watching with Liz's husband, Mark, and I was like, no, she said it. It was like the end of the list of the people, and then Jimmy Kimmel comes on after, and he's like, you didn't say the publicist's name.
Oh, the publicist is like, say my name.
Come
say
on.
my name, say my name.
And so she, in the audience, did say it, but of course there was no microphone
So it
on her,
didn't
so
work.
we couldn't hear.
So that was the first award of the night. Went off with a bang. Probably Vegas odds. She was the one that was going to win. So it's like, okay, no surprise. The next two presenters.
Well, wait a minute. So, Ed, what did happen?
Oh, yeah. Oh, see, you can't skip. We have to find
Or
out the results.
if we so choose.
No, I wanna know.
All three of us got it right.
Great.
I forgot. I knew she was the front runner.
Who did you vote for?
Well, I split my vote, but I did America and Emily.
Split your vote?
Well, I do 2 ballots.
John does what he believes
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
the Academy's going to do, and then
Okay.
what he would actually, Right.
Okay, wait. So refresh my memory. Who were the choices, and you picked who?
The choices were Divine, Emily Blunt, Danielle Brooks, America Ferrara, and Jodie Foster.
Okay, and you picked.
I thought industry-wise it was going to be America Ferrara and Barbie, and then I thought myself of the performances, I thought Emily Blunt. In Oppenheimer.
Interesting. Okay.
I thought maybe Jodie Foster is an old-time
I did
favorite. And I don't
too,
mean
yeah.
old in her age. I just mean like been an Academy member for...
Just a
probably the
well-respected-
longest Academy member alive. But I will say Emily Blunt's shoulder. Anybody else watching her fashion? I don't know what those shoulder ones.
Oh, on the dress she was wearing actually
it was
at the
so
Oscars.
weird. Her dress was propped up off her shoulders.
It kind of almost had like a sci-fi,
But
costume
not totally.
design
Okay.
vibe. All right. Anyway, that was a side tangent.
Okay, so not that surprising who won.
So
Best
1,
supporting.
1, 1,
Oh, this is
0.
Hi, Kayla. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so then the next announcers. Oh my God, Chris Hemsworth. I mean, I don't know why he was there. I mean,
Don't care.
I don't care.
He
John's
can be
trying to
there,
rack
absolutely.
his brain. I don't know if he was in a movie that was
John's gonna
relevant.
search.
I never care. Give me more Chris Hemsworth. Like, such a stud, looking
He
so
looked very
gorgeous.
tan.
Oh,
Well,
Very,
and
very tan. He
We've
was-
seen the Saturday Night Live sketch. He can look good in a tux and a suit and
can.
sunglasses.
yes, he can. I only wanted the camera to get closer. I'm like,
Yeah,
get
it was kind of a
closer to
lot of
Chris.
wide shots.
I mean,
didn't.
I'll take him any way we can get it. But
Right. He was presenting with Anya Taylor-Joy. So they came up together. I mean, they looked great together.
Right.
Maybe that's also why he looks so tan, because she's very pale.
Oh, he looked great. Doesn't matter.
No, he looked
I mean, she's
fantastic,
beautiful,
yeah.
but it's
She's
almost like I could
gorgeous,
not
yeah.
look at him. So
Yeah.
they did best short animation.
Correct.
And what I thought was so interesting was the Yoko and John one, which was produced by Sean Lennon. So there
I
you
realized That
go.
was produced by Sean Lennon. I've actually seen him when he used to DJ or whatever the band was that he was in, like, I don't know, 15 years ago. Like,
Oh.
Coachella, when it was not the Coachella that it is now.
Yeah, okay. He was in one of the tents DJing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he got up and gave a shout out to his mom, Yoko.
Yeah, I guess she's turning 91.
And I guess it's Mother's Day in Australia because there were quite a few people that said Happy
Yeah.
Mother's Day, which we were all like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
he
in
was
Australia.
the first one who said, so everybody wish her. It was like the music was already coming up, but he was, because there were the 2 other producers, and then he was up there with them. And so he kind of scooched in at the end and said, yeah, and my mom is turning 91, so everybody say Happy Mother's Day, because it's Mother's Day in the UK for my mom. Yoko,
I had
Happy
no
Mother's Day.
idea.
Very sweet.
I had no idea what that short was, but seeing just a slight clip of it and understanding it's probably about
It was the music was
of John Lennon and Yoko Ono. I mean, I now want to see it. And it's just one of those things. Probably one of the streaming platforms will have it. You can go into animation and we'll have it. So it just, that's one of those things I'm like, oh, didn't you know? Thank God they kept Chris on to announce animation feature.
Right. So they got a
more
double.
Chris. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I know I got this one right. This was The Boy and the Heron. Now,
Can I interject? We've done this kind of podcast where we do the Oscars, like recap and go through our voting. I'd just like to say, I know that we all do however we do on the voting. If you didn't see it and you get the category right, like none of us saw the animated shorts, so we shouldn't talk about.
but did you
who
have
got
on
it
our
right.
ballot?
No, I no vote those, and that's why I put that as an option.
no.
You
But
just vote every category
Well,
regardless.
just-
I like the name.
We can
No.
establish that as a rule.
No, I vote because I know what's gotten buzz. So I am also voting in that element. And that's the same I would do for a movie I have or have not seen. Go like, well, okay, Oppenheimer really has the push, or this or that, or this performance. So no, sorry, Ed, my vote counts.
However, just think specifically for the animated short. None of us voted for that category. We all no voted.
So then I had integrity, Eddie. Okay. So I did have integrity. So I didn't
I
vote.
kind of was bringing that up because there are other categories where I no voted and then people did vote. And that seems like a wild guess, even if it's informed. It's just not about what the contents of this is. It's fine. You've done it every year.
Yes. I do like a wild leap vote just based on, which I definitely did for the animation feature.
Yeah, well, and I, based on the idea of like, I'm going to give it a shot. I mean, I'd rather have a maybe I got it versus I definitely didn't got it because I said I wouldn't even vote.
But Katherine, you watched so many of the nominees.
You mean like almost none?
Oh, that's
I
true.
watched quite a few in the major categories. Oh, hi, Elena from my high school.
Hi.
Hello. Animated feature. Chris Hemsworth, once again, was the announcer. I did...
Presenter.
Mm-hmm. I did think the Spider-Man...
I think, what did we vote for, Ed?
Liz, you did not give your vote to that. You, as you said earlier, gave it to Boy and Heron. Katherine, you did do Spider-Man.
I didn't put Boy and Heron?
No,
I mean, I knew that was going to be the winner.
You did put it.
Oh, okay, thank goodness.
You just said a couple seconds ago, I was thinking about Spider-Man, but you didn't do that.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
okay.
she did not. So I did Spider-Verse, whatever this new Spider-Verse is called, right? So I did not get a point. Boo. What did you guys vote?
I voted for Nimona, so I didn't win.
I did Boy and Heron for both, so.
But I didn't see the Boy and Heron, so
Now,
I
when
couldn't
we
speak
total-
to liking it or not, so I didn't have a vote.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense. Now, for John, when you total yours up, are you going to do 2 categories of totals? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just checking.
No.
It actually,
He's going to add them all together. and then
Yeah,
he's gonna-
obviously, he
that
takes the
doesn't count.
best score.
I already know, I mean, Ed and I both know, how it ranked for all 4 of us. And so, yes, I'm fully aware of both of my totals.
Oh, because you guys have already seen the total out of
Yes.
like, oh, okay.
Okay, so
well, keep it
we're
secret.
behind the
I want to be
curtain.
surprised. I want to be surprised.
Hi, Charity, who just joined as well.
Hi.
Known you forever. Okay, so listen, animation feature announced by Chris Hemsworth, Boy and Heron, all worked for me.
Yeah, it worked for you.
Thank you.
I mean, the Chris Hemsworth part worked for me. I didn't get either of them right, vote-wise.
I mean, you know
but
what's
okay.
weird is besides Spider-Man, and I think Boy and Heron was on Netflix, what else was in the movie theaters? It's so hard to go see them.
Boy and Heron is in the theaters. Nimona was on Netflix.
Okay,
Oh.
okay.
Which I reviewed on this podcast.
I do remember that.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Okay, so now out came Octavia and Melissa.
Yeah, Octavia Spencer and Melissa McCarthy, who apparently have been friends for 30 years, which I did not know.
They recently did that Netflix movie where they played
the
like
superhero type one, yeah.
yeah. So they have chemistry. So they came out and had a little banter and, repertoire between each other.
Yeah.
They looked great.
Thunder Force.
Oh, Thunder Force,
Thunder
right?
Force, the movie they were in together, which I think is probably on one of the streaming platforms and you could watch it.
Netflix.
Netflix.
Right. So
Okay,
they
there
were
you go.
presenting for original screenplay and adapted screenplay, but original was first.
Yeah.
And Anatomy of a Fall won, which I think the funniest thing
Okay,
about
wait.
this is, go ahead, Liz.
Hi, Ivan. Hi, Scoot. Okay, Anatomy of the Fall. If you have not seen it, I don't know if it's going to fall in the spoiler category, but you guys had rented it, and so you only had a 24-hour period to watch it. So I started to watch it in bed. Huge mistake, because it's multiple subtitles. It's like German, French.
Yeah,
You
but-
can shrug all you want, but if you are tired and your eyes are
correct.
trying to read and English, you're like, and it is the pace of its kind of.
But it is funny, when we reviewed it, I almost said, I was like, I think this is right up your alley, especially if it was a TV show. But yeah, so maybe in the way it condensed it down to a movie didn't perfectly work for you. But
It had me, it pulled
Sucked
me in, but I was too tired, so I fell asleep and literally forgot about it the next day. And I was like, oh, I got to see how he died. It was gone. So then I'm watching the Oscars, and they basically rat out the fact that we never found out the real answer of how he fell.
Well, no, yeah, she was acquitted or, found not guilty, but they did not answer as to what actually happened. They left that to your own interpretation.
Vague, gray area.
Ambiguous.
Okay.
Interesting.
Well, so that was original screenplay, and that was Anatomy of the Fall.
And
correct.
we all got that wrong.
Oh, okay, on our
Perfect.
ballot. But I will say this, it is a very interesting movie. It's done
Very, very good.
very intimately around a family, and a crisis happens, and presumption of both innocent and guilt, so it is worth watching. Just be awake, like have a big old thing of coffee next to you.
It's also that it kept your interest and was a good story that entire time. Despite the fact that it's 3 different languages, you stayed in it. You were trying to pay attention. You're trying to.
That's very true.
Who is it? Who did it? Who done it? We don't know. Damn it.
I mean, literally, the next day I'm like, I gotta finish it. Oh my gosh, the rental's
can't.
expired. What happened? Who did it?
Son of a.
Oh well.
Well, I did want to mention that.
And I will say the dog in it. Okay, there was a dog.
Snoop.
Fantastic. I don't know who the little trainer with the whistle and the treat do this. I mean, that dog was fantastic.
I mean, the dog, spoiler, almost died.
What?
But that was probably an act. So he did a great job at almost dying as an
Jimmy Kimmel does kind of allude to that as well. Like, what an acting job. Like,
I was weird. When that happened for Snoop, I did think he was dead. And then he turned out not to be dead.
Oh, thank goodness.
I mean, it's a movie.
And as we all know, that's one of the caliber of tricks that you have to know as a dog.
Play dead.
Play dead.
Play dead.
Oh my God, Ed. Play dead as a dog.
Before we move on from this, I just want to mention you had talked about her before, the director of this. So she's also the writer, Justine Triet, maybe?
She's French. I don't know how to
She's
pronounce
French.
it.
So she went up with her writing partner.
Her husband, it seemed like.
Yeah, it is. Mhm.
Yeah. And her speech was great. It was a little hard to understand at first. Like you had to get into the rhythm of, because she's a pretty heavy French accent.
Sure.
And while she was speaking, I remembered and then cross-referenced. I'm like, oh yeah, she's also the director. So it was kind of like an interesting speech, just recognizing like how much work she was good. She was really good.
Yeah.
I liked her a lot. And so it made me even more intrigued about this movie and her other movies. Because when John reviewed this before was like, oh, she's done this and she's really interesting.
So as an American audience, we're pretty much introduced to her.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Through Anatomy of the Fall, winning original screenplay.
Yes.
And just for the audience's edification, not only did none of us vote for it, but all 3 of us voted the same for the holdover.
Oh.
And John voted both categories the same for Past Lives.
I did.
So we all had opinions.
We did.
Okay.
Thank you for
All
making
wrong.
sure that
All
information
wrong
got in there, Ed.
opinions.
That is your job. Keep us on track with
Data.
all the wrongs and rights.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Adapted.
Not lore.
Adapted, we really spread. It'll be when we get there.
Okay, here we go. Well, we're into Adapted then. Okay, so Adapted, the winner was American Fiction, and that was Cord Jefferson, who was the writer and the director. And his speech was amazing.
Well, he was really good looking.
He was very like
He was a good looking guy. I was like, this is a writer trapped in a dark room over a computer screen.
Yeah.
Get him out in the world. And then it was like, oh, he's also the director. Now this makes more sense.
But I guess he said, like, as part of his speech, he was like, thanking people for taking a chance on him who had never directed before and blah, blah. It was just amazing. I almost said blah, blah, blah. That's like not really what he said. He was very eloquent.
True. And you would know that having watched the movie, it is kind of about a writer, and you get both sides of like, I'm writing the story, and then I talk about you're showing me writing the story. It was very interesting. So first film.
Wait, when did you watch it? Within the last 24 hours?
Yesterday.
John slammed like most of the whole list of best.
Yeah, the top 10.
all of everything you watch, basically all the movies.
I'd watched
He said 6 in the
six
last.
of the top 10 in Best Picture before 2 days ago, and then I watched the other 4 and then 4 more in the last 2 days. Or
okay.
day and a half. So his first movie, if you didn't realize, he also a bunch of television you love: Master of None, Good Place, Succession, Watchmen, Station 11.
Okay.
Station 11? Station 11?
Well, just one episode. I'm
Catherine's
sorry.
excited.
I'm excited.
Okay, so
he's amazing.
when he says first time director, it's like a film.
First film.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
you hear that and you think, wow, but he actually did have experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right,
Which
well,
I didn't, I will admit, I did not immediately go on IMDb and check out his
Well,
whole...
that's the tough thing about the show. They're not always trying to tell you everything about that person. For most awards, because they're focusing on what this award was for, or what the nomination was for.
I want to say people have joined us. Hi, Ivan. Hi, AMFS 1097.
Nice. Hi.
Hearts for Us, Gracie and Georgie, C. Williams. And if you also want to, literally, if you want to ask to join and give us some of your opinions about the Oscar too, I think we can add one more screen, right?
I mean, that might be challenging, but
Or
we
two, but yeah.
we could attempt
We
it.
technically will figure it out. So if you want to join us and have some opinions about the Oscars, like I said, they're ongoing right now, but we watch the early
East Coast
feed here
in the West
LA,
Coast. Yes.
in La La Land. So,
Okay,
so
so
I
that's
just think it
adapted
was,
screenplay.
like I said, very good looking
Which
guy.
I guess was based on a book.
Right.
So it sometimes when you're looking at the difference between original screenplay and adapted screenplay, yeah, I'm always like, what was the original material? But
this is what he said that was so fascinating. He said, it's about risk aversion. I know this is sort of a business and the message, but basically he's like, why make a $200 million film when you can make 10,
$20 million films.
right, or even
Take a
50.
chance on those,
Take
yeah.
a chance on those, and have new voices and new visions, because the next Christopher Nolan, the next Spielberg is out there, but they just got to get the chance. So I thought that was a fantastic,
really good message.
Yeah, and I agreed with him. So there you go.
I'm glad you wrote that down because I had kind of forgotten the essence of some of the things that he said. I just remembered how impressive and good it was. But yeah, that was a great point.
Yeah, once I got over like, damn, he's good looking. I was like, wait, what is he saying? What is he saying? So, okay. So, all right. So then they gave us a little back screen. They did a back screen camera or behind the scenes. And it's like Michael Keaton and Catherine O'Hara, which is Beetlejuice.
Yeah, you called it immediately.
And, Beetlejuice, there is a movie coming out which has them in it. It's literally, it's either a continuation, I would assume, of the classic.
I mean, just be careful. You've said it twice.
Yeah, Liz, stop. Be careful.
Oh my God, that is scary, Ed. Why am I scared now? I'm afraid to actually say it. Like, what if I say
it?
But,
If Michael
wait,
Keaton shows up right now, this
Zip
would be
it.
a great live.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, if I said it one more time, Michael Keaton popped up right here in the center.
That would be awesome.
Worth it.
What's going on?
Yeah, I did always like his outfits. I can't say it now. You made me scared. So they were coming out, and Catherine O'Hara, Moira, she didn't look all
O'Hare.
Schitt's Creek Moira,
yeah.
but she did look great, sleek, like sequenced Florida gown, black dripping, gorgeous. So
Wasn't the exact jacket you're wearing?
I know. Wait, can we take a little moment to acknowledge?
Obviously, we got to do a fashion moment in our live. Sure.
Ow,
Yeah,
oh gosh, I'm all stuck.
you're
in
being
this.
caught in the
What?
sequence.
So, John,
that's the
what
hazard
do you think
of
about
it.
their outfits? I'm not hip to the sequins. I definitely feel like that is annoying fabric to
Okay,
wear.
well, first of
No.
all, are you getting all the rustles?
No, don't
and
make
the
it
blink?
worse.
Yes.
Okay, I just felt we normally do our podcast, what we are watching, we're a little more casual, but I proposed to you.
To me,
I
who was
should have
in
done.
a
I
long-
should have.
Did no text went
I
out.
should have sent you guys to wear tuxedos. I don't know why I did.
Oh, we would have for sure.
I should have sent
Obviously.
the tuxedo message. But I was like, hey, if we're gonna do like a coverage of the Oscars, I think we should be a little more fancy. Of course, she's already out and has nothing. I'm like, don't worry. I have multiple sequence
Yeah.
jackets for you to choose
Yes, I was, of course, wearing a long sleeve white T-shirt
No.
and a V-neck T-shirt over that. That's what I was wearing because that's what
I was tempted to even go the gown route, but I'm like, that you don't even see my bottom half, so it's
which
not worth
is
it.
good because you are wearing sweats and I am wearing jeans.
Why did you just rat me out?
It's hidden. Oh wait, actually, in the really wide shot, you can maybe see our legs at our tennis shoes, at our.
No, that's not being
Okay, good.
broadcast.
This
Thank
is
goodness.
the magic of podcast making. They were not supposed to see this, Catherine, so we shouldn't have told them.
Sorry.
What
Sorry.
the hell?
Sorry.
I
The
mean,
magic of podcasting.
it's like it's old
Just take
cast like
25 hours after this to do it.
What do you want your rainbow to say?
it's like old school news broadcaster. Like you don't see what's underneath the desk. Okay,
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Well, I love that you put jewels on me. They're a little
Yeah,
itchy,
so we got a
but,
little fancy too for the Oscars, and hi Schwims 33, hi Taylor.
Amber.
Oh, hi Amber, hi.
Hi.
And Sophia and Abel
So
Dell
the-
2201.
So the appropriate question is, what are you wearing?
Yeah.
Well, no, who are you wearing?
Liz's outfit.
Well,
What
I
is
do
Liz
love
wearing?
when we first got here and the guys saw us and they were like, "Wait, what? What are you guys wearing?"
I did think I did
And
in a
then-
group text, but I guess I didn't.
And then one of you was referenced Liz's husband Mark and was like, "Why didn't you send texts with Mark? Like,
I
just
should
send
have.
us some."
I didn't think
you know.
of it. I didn't have wardrobe for everybody. Okay, so I will say this is actually a good setup for the next two categories that were presented by Michael Keaton and Catherine O'Hara.
I actually did not plan that.
No, I know, but that was good, synergy.
It worked out.
So we're talking about hair and makeup, and the category, sometimes you think like, okay, like a Napoleon or something like where it's a big, grand scale epic, and the costumes are period pieces, like that you feel like the Academy is going to go that direction, right?
Mm-hmm, sure.
Whereas like, the winner of makeup and hair, Poor Things. Poor Things. Mm-hmm. Now, I literally did just watch that today.
Because it just went on streaming like 2 days ago.
That's exactly why.
So Poor Things is very unique. Create a whole world. Emma Stone hair grows an inch a day or something, whatever. It's so freaking long. So when they hair and makeup, I will say, I'm going to say it now. They should break this category up. It should be for...
I agree.
But how do they do less than a 3-hour telecast? That's the problem.
Oh, well.
Well, they're adding categories. Casting is coming next year, I think. I guess if you're a hair and makeup team and you both win, you both get up and you've worked as a team and they can be partners.
It can be an integrated team, but it feels like there can be distinct recognition.
For Poor Things, I did question why that won hair and makeup because...
Well, you also voted for it, so...
I know. I don't know why.
It was, 4 out of 5 of us, because there are 5 of us.
I don't know why I voted for Poor Things. Because...
We all read that tea leaf right.
So we all got Poor Things?
4 out of 5. Half of me got it right.
Oh, half of you got it right.
It's a surrealist movie, but Emma wears almost no makeup.
Or does she? Maybe that was the genius.
Her eyebrows are very strong. I will say her eyebrows are very strong because Emma's got big eyes, so it's very expressions. But she's very natural throughout the whole movie.
But doesn't Willem Dafoe have like a crazy prosthetic thing going on?
Yeah, so you could be voting for that.
Basically like Frankenstein.
Well, Ed, that's part of the layer of the origin of the story. So it is such a unique film. And hair and makeup and Emma Thompson's, that's a producer that comes up later. Emma Stone.
Emma Thomas, I think.
Emma Thomas. Well, I'm also the actor. Okay,
right. So it's Emma
Stone, who's what we're talking about right now.
Emma Stone is the actress in this. Emma Thompson is an actress, and Emma Thomas is the producer of Oppenheimer, who got mentioned multiple times and then did a speech. So that's why.
And Emma is a film that starred Gwyneth Paltrow.
And the sequel, Emma and Thomas.
Oh my! John does not believe me. Emma starred Gwyneth Paltrow.
No, she's right, I think.
Okay, so
but
anyways,
no, I'm just referring to the 2020 film with Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so all I'll say is that I was just surprised a little bit, even though I voted for it, because there was not that level of grandeur with hair and makeup that sometimes, or period piece that normally gets the award. Mm-hmm. And like I said, her hair was a character within itself. But other than that, I guess we're talking about Willem Dafoe and all the special effects makeup that had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Napoleon didn't get nominated in this category.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because the wigs and everything you had to wear.
I went with, for my personal one, I did do Maestro. Because I felt like
I thought Maestro
Bradley, it was worth it for how committed and, not always good they went for. It was like, oh, that hair is crazy, so let's go for it. I was like, okay.
Well, and trailers, they were getting a lot of heat for the nose they did on him. And then
Which I thought was, having watched it, I was like, it's fine. It worked. It's great.
And the age progressed, the cigarettes, progression was like alarming. So
quite amazing.
So I think Poor Things was just a little bit of a shocker, which then started, now we got into...
I just have one more thing to say about that. Just that I just looked at the category, and I don't know what that first one is.
Golda, yeah. I think Helen Mirren is on that.
That one I was like, what is this movie? Did it get any buzz or release or anything? I'm not sure.
It did, but it didn't quite break through.
Okay.
I was just going to say that it feels like the winner, and not that why we voted for it, but it feels like by comparison, that's the most creative makeup. Out of all of those movies everybody else did, great, you look like that time period and whatever. This, they had to make it out of nowhere. it didn't exist. Nothing that they did that was hair or makeup was from the
reality.
real world.
Yeah.
It was all just that world.
Yeah, like I said, it was surrealist. So there was an element that was, this is not of a time that you're supposed to nail down exactly through costuming, hair, and makeup. And so that was unique about it.
That was an interesting choice, actually, because the book that it's adapted from was a little bit more, nailed down. Although obviously still fantastical, but they kind of removed it further.
Oh, okay. So they stayed up there for production design.
Yeah,
Michael Keaton and Catherine O'Hara.
Correct. They also presented that award. And then we got Poor Things again.
This, I thought it deserved it.
So similarly, 4 out of 5 of us went Poor Things.
Okay, we got it. So,
So 4 out of 5. So
we don't
John,
need to go
you had
in.
one pick that was not.
Yeah, my personal was Napoleon, because I thought the
Okay.
period piece, and I thought it was, having seen that as well, it's shockingly amazing. You're like, no, that's the time.
Gosh, when you think about it, that he did not get nominated for Best Actor it did not get a lot of
Yeah.
nominations. I know it wasn't.
It was a challenging film. So.
Yeah, it wasn't critically or even box office well received, but I heard his performance was very good.
He
We're
is
talking
fully
about
committed as Joaquin normally
Yeah.
is.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. I don't think we need to go in too long about production design with Poor Things because we just did it. The surrealist, the sets, it's really otherworldly. It's pretty cool.
Especially, yeah.
But fair warning, if you have not seen it, there is a lot of nudity.
It's shocking how little of an idea you have before going in.
Oh, okay. I'll just say this.
I had zero idea.
I was so relieved because I have a teenage son, and we have our main big room that we could watch TV in, and otherwise we don't have a TV in our bedroom, but we bring a laptop in there. And our son was over with his girlfriend, and they took over the big room to watch Dune, the first one. And I was like, but I want to watch Poor Things. All right, we'll just watch it in the bedroom. I will say,
Dodged a bullet.
Thank goodness.
This would have been a Family Dynamics episode.
Yeah. What happens when you accidentally watch Poor Things with your teenage son?
and you almost want to say porn things because it's like there are a lot of graphic adult sexual scenes. And I would not want that in the main part of our house with our son walking around with his girlfriend. So we were like, oh my God, shut our bedroom door, turn it down. Like, oh my. So Emma Stone does an incredible job. And it's Mark Ruffalo. Come on, we'll talk about that. Oh, just a little more shout outs.
That corset.
Hi, Sophia, Sweetie Poo. I love that name. Hi. Carrie Cupcake. These are all such cute names.
These are great names.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Raw Rach. In Los Angeles
Ooh.
won.
All
Yay.
right.
Thanks for joining us. We're recapping the Oscars. Like we said, we watched the early feed here on the West Coast. East Coast is in bed probably by now.
Well-
LA is sort of
What is it? It's almost 10.
2 hours into it, so there might be spoiler alerts. So if we're going to talk about a category you have not seen, plug your ears. We're still giving other insight that might be interesting about it, okay? Okay, so then here comes one of the better moments.
This was one of my top 5 moments.
This was
of
probably
the
one of my
whole
favorite
show.
moments.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay,
be
so-
interested. I have no idea.
Oh, yeah,
I know you too. Okay.
We were
well,
working so
you probably
hard.
saw it, right? Okay, so all right, we'll find out. We don't know what category is coming up.
Nope.
Jimmy Kimmel comes out and he's like, "Well, we're gonna do the next category." And in 1970 something or other, there was a famous incident. David Niven was presenting blah blah blah, and a streaker comes across, and then he pauses, and nothing happens. And then a streaker comes across.
So now you
and
got
nothing happens.
a
And you're
bit
like,
is happening.
Oh, obviously.
Okay.
You're like, oh, obviously someone's supposed to come out. Side of the stage, John Cena's head and torso, obviously
It was
no
like this.
clothes
He's like-
on. I mean, already.
He's like, psst.
Can you see me? Can you see
He's
me?
like, hey,
No, he's like, can we?
hey.
So I'll be Jimmy Kimmel.
Hey.
He's like, no, just
I don't-
do the bit.
I don't.
Come here.
I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to streak across.
You're all ready for it. Just do it.
It seems this is a fancy event. I don't think we should. It seems inappropriate.
Oh, what? You've done it before. You do it with wrestling.
No, I wear jorts when I wrestle.
What are jorts?
I think he said jorts are worse.
Jorts are worse. And I was like, what the hell's a jort?
It's jean shorts, aren't they? Shorts,
Yeah.
jeans that have been cut
No.
into shorts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ew. I thought there was just
No.
a fancy word for the tidy little bikini bottoms they wear to do WWE.
No, I don't know what those are called, but no.
No, jorts are definitely, which for some reason they decided to call out jorts, which is very
so
funny.
then Jimmy Kimmel basically says to John Cena, well, fine, just go out and do the announcement.
Yeah, he's like, well, go give the award. So he gives him the award
It's like
envelope,
this.
which is like that big.
I'll do it. So he's like walking across like this across his thing. He's like,
I'm sure we're banging the mic, so we apologize.
you know.
And of course, John Cena, who is in incredible shape.
Yes.
The only thing that is being covered is what absolutely has to be covered.
And you know what?
And he looks incredible.
It was a very big envelope. That's all I'm saying.
That was a bigger
ladies.
envelope than the normal envelope, which
that needed to
was
cover a lot of
blessing for us.
space.
Yeah. Oh my God. So then he, of course, says, well, I can't read the envelope. So Jimmy Kimmel comes back out and he's like, all right. And so he like reads the categories or whatever.
And
then
what do you
cut
think
to
the category would be that he's being announcing if he's standing there naked?
Costume?
Boom!
Yes!
Ed, nice.
So then he says, of course, standing there naked, he's like, for best costume, costumes are very important. Sometimes the most important or whatever.
Yeah.
It was
And I'd like
very
to
funny.
nominate a sixth one just before I open the envelope. The envelope.
The
is
envelope
number
is a
6.
great-
Could
Right.
win awards right now.
So they cut to like, a little bit of graphic and then they cut back and he's got like a curtain wrapped around
Draped
him.
around him.
It looks almost like a
Kind of like
a toga sort
toga
of
party.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But it was like peach satin.
Yeah, it was really a great moment. And I will say, John Cena, real committed and like didn't break at all, didn't play it like it was funny, played it completely
wink, wink.
straight. Oh no. It was like he was really supposed to streak and now he's really thinking about it and he doesn't want to do it. And I mean,
It
he
was
did a great job.
one of the better bits. And
one of the better
So
bits,
the
yeah.
winner for best costumes.
No pun intended.
Ed, come on.
I told you it was a very big envelope covering that area.
It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, we assumed there was other coverage, in the back.
We assume that. I'm like,
No.
what?
just behind the scenes, the stagehands are like,
You assume me.
Woo! We don't need to. Oh my.
Yeah, that's probably a super G on the backside.
It's not a flower moon.
No. Oh, John. Whoa. Okay.
it's a brown star.
Come
Ed.
on.
Okay, wait.
All right,
so
back to
the winner was, and like I said, spoiler. It's, I don't know where we are in the live or the feed in
the
LA.
refeed of the
Poor Things.
which does track. That makes sense.
So
now
it-
I don't know if I voted for it because when I did my ballot, I did it real quick and then I don't remember.
Yeah. Ed and Liz followed with
thank
Poor
you.
Things. You and I thought Barbie.
Oh, I mean, I do like Barbie. Okay,
Costumes were great.
The costumes were great.
This
even
was
though
my
I was
theory
wrong.
of why Poor Things, because it was kind of what Ed was saying, where it's like truly having to create something out of nothing. Whereas
yeah.
Barbie, let's be honest, there was a template for a lot of the
You know
characters.
what? You are
Although it
absolutely
was
right.
genius, it was so odd, the costuming in Poor Things. And the woman that got up and accepted them kind of did a little tribute 'cause she had very strong, powerful,
big
puffy
shoulder.
shoulders, which Emma's character for most of the movie had big puffy shoulders.
true.
They were entering a room like this a lot and walking kind of oddly. And I mean, just the odd silky shorts and white boots and just... It was very creative. So,
Well, good for them.
So Poor Things swept. I mean, I'd be getting a little scared if I was Oppenheimer or Barbie. Like, this might be a Poor Things sweep at this point. Because
Yeah.
that was 3 categories in a row they won.
But what type of categories?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The
That was-
craft category.
Okay,
if I'm-
John,
if
don't
I'm-
diminish it.
If I'm
Yeah, I
Oppenheimer,
agree.
I'm very happy that a movie that I'm in competition with for the big ones is kind of getting its due in these categories. Because then
Okay.
it doesn't need it in the big picture one.
yeah.
It doesn't need it in the other one. Like, give that to me, thank you.
Sometimes that's the way they seem
That
to
is
think.
sometimes the way it shakes out.
Balance it out.
Yeah.
But also, it's so funny when we talk about the psychology or like, oh, well, that's obviously why they voted. It's like, is that at all why it happened? Who
No,
knows?
who knows?
I don't know.
Well, if they could do 2 ballots, John.
If they could do 2 ballots, yeah, that would be different.
I don't understand. Hi, Dawn and Donner and Shiva. Hi, Shiva. Shiva and I used to work together a long time ago in the old world of Kardashian Jenner together.
Oh,
So
all right.
love my Shiva. Okay, so now we're international film.
Yes.
And I'll
International
just say,
feature.
it used to be foreign film. And
Yeah.
did they change it because...
Yeah, I mean, it's, I think, just to better classify it or better, represent it.
Okay, so international film.
And that was presented by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
In a very shiny suit.
yeah, it was kind of a velvety, shiny looking thing.
That was satin, honey.
okay. Well, sorry.
No.
All right. And then Bad Bunny. And so Bad Bunny spoke Spanish. He did part of his little
Right.
thing in Spanish. And then Dwayne said, "Well said."
I mean, I will
Which I
say
thought
this,
was fun.
Bad Bunny, I loved him in Bullet Train. But I was sort of like, wow, what's he doing up there? Because I don't really know that he's a film actor yet. But like I said, he was with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, but wait, John, wasn't Bad Bunny Maybe I'm wrong. Was he the terrible boyfriend to J-Lo in Marry Me?
No.
Okay, I was
That's
wrong.
you are
That would
asking
have been amazing.
John.
But like, John loves J-Lo
rom-com, like John, you're
He
our
is a
reference.
rom-com.
Okay.
It starts with M, so I'm very
Oh,
certain.
it's Maluma.
There you
Okay.
go.
It was.
All right, so
I'm wrong.
Bad Bunny and Dwayne The Rock Johnson international feature.
Correct.
This was the start of kind of another sweep that happened, but
Yeah.
it was
A little mini sweep.
Yes.
The Zone of Interest.
Yes.
Won.
Which is a UK film. Those of you who don't know anything about it, it's basically about a family that is living right outside a Nazi gas chamber internment camp.
Yeah, I think they're actually on the premises of it.
Yeah, you're both almost correct. Yes, it's the family of the commandant who is living sharing a wall, so right next to it.
And it speaks to like the banality of like everyday life right next to the highest level of evil. So
yeah, it's very challenging. I mean, there were some things I didn't know about how things went in World War II or at concentration camps, and it was a tough one for sure.
that's not a light watch. So the Academy recognized it, but that is a very important film, and sort of the team that won it got up and spoke about that now more than ever, it's to remember our history and to learn about our history. And so it was very poignant.
Although kind of a surprising film-wise, it's directed by the guy who did Sexy Beast and Under Her Skin, I think.
Oh.
So not quite what you're thinking going into it.
A little bit of a departure.
It's 90% that,
Okay.
and then there's a 10% style that you're like, oh, I think that's where that came from.
Okay, and then of course there's commercial breaks in between, but this was a real kind of like pivot, tonally. But I also thought one of the great moments, because chemistry, this was like reminded you of like Bacall and Bogart, and like they got up there, Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling, which is
The Fall Guy.
Oppenheimer versus Barbie.
Oh, well, which is upcoming in the same movie.
Right.
but sure.
Yeah.
So they got up and sort of had the fun repertoire of like, hey, let's squash this beef. And it was really funny.
It was hysterical.
It was like a fake fight.
Yeah,
And
it was a fake bit where they were just like, and Ryan, of course, was like really doing it up.
Committed.
But Emily was like right there. She was, in the bit, making the joke, and
they just had a good,
fake fight.
like I said, repertoire. It was the chemistry was like, if they have not
Rapport, do you mean?
rapport, thank you.
Sure.
I was thinking Michael Rappaport. No, just kidding. So I think
Or repertory theater, perhaps.
repertoire theater. I think if they haven't been in a movie together, maybe I'm not aware
You're
of it.
saying coming up.
Yeah, that's
What?
this huge movie that's coming up, The Fall Guy, with those two.
Really?
Yeah, and
it's not
Steven-
based on the TV series.
I don't know, but Steven Spielberg has already said it was great. So there you go.
Okay, well, that's why their chemistry was so natural. So I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to announce, or there's a now category for stunts. Because they did this whole thing for stunts. Like,
Yeah.
No, they were just sort of acknowledging the stunt, industry for all they do,
All
for
their
film
contributions.
magic.
and- yeah.
I was excited as you started to say this. I'm like, oh, that would be a great category. On-screen chemistry.
That's at the MTV Awards, Eddie.
That
I know,
definitely.
I know.
Or
I'd
the
still take
People's
it in
Choice
this.
Awards. That would
Yeah,
be,
exactly. So no. So then they actually didn't do an award. They just got up there and were like, stunts are awesome. Watch this montage. So
Yeah.
it was still worth it
Which
because
was
it's
a
very
good
fun.
montage. You're like, yeah, stunts are crazy, because they did a lot of the sort of behind the scenes of stunts, which is a great way to
show
like
the
really
green-
show. Yeah,
They'd show the green screen or the CGI or
the guy on a wire behind the guy. Like it was good.
Yeah. It was funny. One of the things they did was the famous Jason Bourne, where Matt Damon like jumps from one window down to another. And my husband goes, I've always wondered how they did that.
Yeah.
And they showed it. So I was like, well, there you go.
I don't mean to make a non sequitur in this, but Liz, do you remember going to Universal Studios and doing the whole behind the scenes tour and doing like the green screen? Did you do the 2001?
All right, you guys. One of my earlier acting experiences. And obviously, Universal recognized the talent in the audience. So when you go on,
We need her.
so when you go on the Universal tour, they would stop and get you off, and you'd go watch a show as part of it, or as part of your day. And there's all the lore of the Universal lot. We were on a writing group on the Universal lot, but there's the famous like Steven Spielberg just jumped off and went into a bungalow and like discovered, or I don't know who did that, but there's the back lot's really cool. So they have this show where they had a big early on screen. I don't even know if it was green screen at that point, Eddie. Maybe early
It might not have been green
We
screen.
don't want to date
ourselves.
ourselves.
It was a blue screen.
But for sure, like the ET bike ride, that was blue screen, where you were like riding the bike and then they composited you over like San Fernando Valley.
So it's like hundreds of people in the audience, and they have to pick out people to participate and show the magic of filmmaking with this new technology. And they picked me, Stars Born. Of course, they want some girl from like Oklahoma. And they're like, where are you from? Like San Fernando Valley, Woodland Hills, available for booking currently. I have my SAD card. They're like, oh my God, get her off the stage.
Here's my 8x10.
It's a plant.
Is this a day rate? Is this a day rate? Then they just put you through scenes and think someone else did something and it's like a family. Ed, that was like Inside Out, long-term drop memory. You just brought it back up to the frontal lobe and my head exploded. I'm like, all the greatness was there and I just didn't grab it. Is there an agent in the audience? Is there a manager?
You might still be floating out in space. If not,
Ed, find it. You probably could buy a tape of it, like, here's your VHS.
Yeah,
after.
no, they keep that forever.
Well, Ed, Mom for sure would have kept that forever. John, you know it.
it's in the Universal Archives.
You
obviously.
know it is. But secondly, there's no way our family was like way too cheap to ever.
Oh, no.
There's no way.
We don't need that.
I don't think it was the same trip, but there was a cousin visit where we did actually buy the music video of us doing Paula Abdul's, which one
Straight
is
Up Now Love Me.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
I have a vague memory of that one too. That one I've
going on in that video.
a lot of braces, a lot of puberty on screen. So I wish we didn't buy that tape. So so Universal. I don't even know where we were going with this, Ed. Why'd you bring up
Why
Universal?
did you even
Stunts.
Stunts. It was stunts. That's
Stunts,
why.
green
So they're
screen.
showing green screens. I was one of the early inventors of it, basically. Innovators.
That's how that works.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, that seems like not true.
Okay.
I will say, just going back for a second to international, we did all choose Zone of Interest.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right.
So-
Because that's one of the only ones I heard about. I heard about Gun Buzz.
It's one of the ones when it's breaking through in all the other categories.
Oh, yeah.
It also feels unfair. You're like, you got nominated for Best Picture and Best International.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, sorry, you're going to win Best International.
Yeah.
But
Most likely not both. Okay.
Yeah.
So then Best Supporting Actor. Like I said, they opened the entire thing with Best Supporting Actress,
And
which then you
supporting
guys sit
actor so
there
much
for,
later.
hours and hours. And now the actor comes more like somewhat in the middle. Now, there was definitely a front runner, but I was sort of hoping for Ryan Gosling just because that would be so fun.
It would be fun.
And after watching Poor Things, Mark Ruffalo was so awesome in that. I was like, okay. But I had voted for Robert Downey Jr.
RDJ, as did I.
Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't.
Who'd you vote for?
I voted for Ryan Gosling. I just love him.
I also voted for Ken. I have a lot of Ken energy, and I feel like that him getting a statue would have been perfect,
Would have been amazing.
Okay, but you know what shocked me?
especially one with no junk.
No, what?
The Oscar
For Ken.
statue is very Ken-ish
because it has no business.
Because it has no junk?
It's just
Oh my God, Ed.
doesn't have any bits. We're doing a bit, aren't we?
We're doing a bit about the bits, Liz. What?
I had that parallel that no one did that. Ed,
Your
that was
eye
gold.
your eye
It's
never
gold.
just
No
drawn
pun
to that
intended.
list?
That the Oscars
No
gold.
pun intended.
Again.
Jimmy Kimmel did not, that someone didn't do that joke. Okay, so.
That there wasn't him just kenning out there. Like, are we doing this? It's just him with a bunch of other statues. Just like, what are we doing?
God,
what are
Ed,
we doing, guys?
that
would have
was-
been really
that
good,
is a bit.
too.
Oh my gosh.
All the Kens doing Oscar poses.
To the producers next year, we're available to write
Obviously.
bits. We're
Yeah,
available.
we're-
So.
Okay, well, wait.
or the Emmys. Joe Coy's people.
Oh
Reach
God!
out,
Okay,
we
don't
can help.
That I think was the Golden Globes.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Which we
a little
would
more
also work on
shout outs.
that.
Hi, Gabriel. Hi, it's Gabe. Hi, Gabe.
Hi.
Tess Silva, thank you, and Louddeck 07. Hi, thank you for joining us. Okay,
Well, wait. I do wanna
we're not
mention-
we're not getting off Robert Downey Jr. because we have to talk about it.
No. I just want to go back because this was another time when they did the 5 presenters. So they did the 5 previous winners of
The 5 intimate moments.
Yeah, if you
The
just
5
joined
intimate
us, we
moments.
talked about how they presented Best Actress,
Best Supporting Actress.
Best Supporting.
At the very top of the show.
So 5 actresses for previous wins came out and then spoke basically one-on-one very intimately, like bearing into the souls of the other actresses. It was very intense.
Uh-huh.
And so I kind of thought the same thing, like, are they going to do this to the guys too?
Yeah.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are. Yes, they are.
So we had Mahershala Ali, Christoph Waltz, Tim Robbins, Sam Rockwell, who I adore. He was very funny.
One of my faves.
And Ki Yu Kwang. Is that right?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I just brought up Tim Robbins to somebody like, where is he? And there he walks out the 6'5" tall Tim Robbins. I was like, okay.
He is very tall.
So they then each individually, Sam Rockwell spoke to Robert Downey Jr. I'm like, oh, their chemistry. That's right. They're in Iron Man together. So I'm like, all right. So usually there was some connection of why they. I love when John. Did you see? He literally just was like,
is there?
I disagree. Hold on. I'm going to look
that
it up.
is a fact.
It's not that you're wrong at all. It's just that it's Iron Man 2.
Oh,
sorry.
Semantics.
Look, sometimes I'm doing it to correct you guys. Sometimes it's just because I am interested and want to know for myself.
They were in Iron Man
double checker
2 together. Okay, so Sam Rockwell.
And that wasn't nominated. I thought that was. Oh, that's Rustin. My bad.
Oh my gosh, no, of course. So
that Iron Man is Rustin? Oh my God, Liz, Lord help us.
No.
That Iron Man is rusted.
I just got that. Ed, what the hell? Okay, anyway, these tributes, I will say, which was like the intimate one-on-one tributes,
Sure.
It's a good way to bring a lot of talent out on stage and present. I hope they all got amazing goodie bags.
Yeah.
But I kind of do like the clips still, which shows their performances or like why they were nominated and the context of it. So I don't know if this tribute one-on-one needs to last. I'm a little like questioning that. Okay, so the winner is...
You're right about seeing a little clip to remind you. And also as a promotional thing, if you haven't seen this movie, it's like, oh yeah, that's why they got nominated because look at this little bit.
And some of the one-on-ones were more intimate because they did really know each other, and other ones were just talking about the role they just did. So that's why it was a little uneven, and I kind of questioned, like, I don't know if we need to continue with that. I might like the clips better. But the winner, which probably Vegas odds were totally for him, was the fantastic Robert Downey Jr. But I will...
Did he have a great speech or something? I didn't catch it.
It was really
It was very
good.
Robert Downey Jr. He's so casual up there. He just gets comfortable and can kind of riff with the crowd and then hammer in on what he needs to do.
On the other hand, finally getting this moment. So that was pretty great.
That's what... Okay, this was his first Oscar ever. He has been nominated.
Yeah, first win, yes.
First win. Has had other nominations.
Well, Chaplin.
Chaplin was the one everybody thought basically was robbed, snubbed. Like he should have won.
Astonishing.
Well, that was a tour de force. He was much younger, so now we have a more nuanced performance. But at the same time, he will even say it was best supporting, right? Mm-hmm. Even though we know him as Iron Man and like it's Robert Downey Jr., we think leading, it's still hard to get a leading role that will get you an Oscar nomination. So that he got one in such a prestigious film, a very large ensemble, that he stood out, got the awards, and he won like SAG, he won Golden Globe, he won quite a few. So he had that push to get him to the Oscars, but you never know. There could have been upset.
It was very tough, but I mean, I think well deserved. He was great. The movie was great. Mm-hmm. He was really good in it.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's Best Supporting Actor. And I also love, he said two things. I want to thank my terrible childhood.
Oh, yeah. That was right out of the gate. That was his first thing.
I would think the majority of actors or people in the industry could almost say that to some degree. Like, there was a great documentary about his dad and him doing small, weird, independent films and had very unorthodox lifestyle growing up. So it doesn't surprise me. And they also thanked his lawyer because he worked overtime getting insurance on films. So it was, like I said, he riffs, he's a little unorthodox.
Yeah.
But he's so friggin' charming.
Super charming. Yeah.
Okay, so then I think another sort of like highlight was the next two presenters.
Yes. We got Arnold Schwarzenegger coming out with Danny DeVito.
Yes.
And of course, you're going to think, well, obviously, this is a twins connection. So they, of course, made the joke like, you all know why we're together because we were both killed by Batman. And
and then they cut to Michael Keaton,
who stone-faced looking at them like, yeah, I would kill you again right now. And they were like,
he's like, why is he here? He's looking at us weird. Like they got scared of him.
It was a very funny bit. Yeah, they did great.
Yeah.
So especially Michael Keaton keeping such a straight face and being like, obviously.
Would you say his face was frozen?
Oh, jeez.
Didn't he play the weird ice villain
yes, because Arnold Schwarzenegger played the ice whatever.
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
But you kind of need him to say, I am Batman.
I am Batman. But he didn't say anything.
No, he didn't. He just glared.
So they were doing visual effects as their category as presenters, and that winner was Godzilla -1. Did anyone guess that?
I think Liz did.
Oh, I forgot. You and I did that. I did that half.
Half?
Yeah.
I probably put Oppenheimer.
You did Guardians of the Galaxy.
I did?
Yeah.
I mean,
they made an entire movie out of a raccoon, and you kind of bought into it if you didn't buy into it.
I think it's fine. But I had heard buzz that Godzilla, just special effects wise, had a lot of
I've missed it so far. I really want to
respect
see
in the
it.
industry.
Katherine.
Well, don't worry.
Okay.
There's another one coming out like in 2 months.
That's actually a separate, of chronology.
I mean,
separate
I
chronology,
cannot.
Liz.
But I
Whatever.
mean,
can't.
You have to remember, there's the Japanese Godzilla movies and the American Godzilla movies.
which typically has King Kong in it.
Well, now, yes.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh my.
So,
Okay.
but all right. So Godzilla -1.
What did you vote for, Ed?
Mission Impossible. I think I just voted for what I'd actually seen in that category, and I'm like, yeah, actually, I remember not getting bumped by anything that happened in that movie. So their effects were on point. Everything that they did, I bought.
The train was real, people.
Yeah.
Totally real.
train.
Oh,
Totally
well,
right.
listen, Tom Cruise is, propelling him off, off that cliff on a motorcycle. He did it like 11 times, but they caught it on the first one. But Tom wanted to do 11 more times, which means 11 motorcycles got destroyed, basically.
Well, and 11 times he cheated death.
Tom Cruise. So, yeah, that was the special effects in that were pretty
We
amazing.
still haven't gotten part 2, right?
No.
That hasn't come out
which
yet.
There will never be a part 2. What are you talking about? They renamed it. It's not part 2.
Can everybody
anymore.
still see us? Because my screen is frozen. Everybody else is fine?
Mine's
Let's
going.
go over here, yeah.
Okay, then fine. I'm just frozen. Well, my little screen that I'm watching, so
On your
it's all good.
laptop.
Okay, so then Arnold and Danny stayed out and did editor,
Yeah, film editor.
and that was won by.
Oppenheimer, Jennifer Lame. She was great up on stage. I had never heard of her before. I do love an editor. Last year, the editor one.
Well,
was
you
really
edited.
good.
You edited.
No,
for a
but I
living.
mean like an editor speech. Like
Oh,
last year, the speech was really good.
Right, yeah. No, that's
I
why.
mean, look, as a professional editor myself,
Oh, wait
I'm
a
a
minute.
bit of a fan of the editor.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, I love that she was a mom too.
Yeah.
Because editing is a long, arduous, sometimes lonely process, as you know. You're locked in a dark room for hours on hours, and and to have kids, I was like, wow, impressed. So
Well, it's funny. I was about to say maybe not locked in a dark room with, today's digital capabilities.
True.
On the other hand, with the filmic way they did that, I don't know.
on celluloid.
Yeah.
She probably wasn't editing the celluloid, so.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I
true.
think they shot it because the cinematographer referenced that they did shoot it on film.
Yeah.
So, or celluloid, as he called it. But
And I do want to call out what they would do in between. They would either show a clip from the Best Picture, nomination. So it's a longer clip, which will come up later when the actual award comes up. And then they also would perform a song. So
yeah, they were sprinkled throughout.
Right. I love John Baptiste and his American Symphony, which is available on Netflix now. You can watch it. It's about a documentary about him writing this great American symphony. He has a song, Never Went Away. It's a tribute to his wife, who's been battling cancer. And so it was just so touching, and I just love him. And Billie Eilish and her brother, Phineas.
Yeah, they sang their song.
Yeah, so, there's... And friggin' Diane Warren, the Cinderella story. Well, she never gets the golden slipper. So, I mean, it's like Diane Warren has performed at so many. She's probably one of the most nominated best song, but yet to win. So that was throughout the whole telecast. So
I want to bring up two little moments that were not specifically related to awards that sort of happened in this spot of the show.
Oh, yeah.
So the first one was Jimmy called out the orchestra. And what I loved was it's this orchestra. They were kind of like up and behind and like I couldn't figure out.
But it was a live orchestra with,
Yeah.
real musicians, real instruments. Fantastic.
During the Billie Eilish song,
They
with her
joined.
and her brother, they joined and they were
I think
all
they
like
did for a
lit in
couple.
pink and
Yeah.
they were present throughout the whole thing. But when they were called out by Jimmy Kimmel as just like, let's acknowledge the orchestra, they played like an orchestra version of I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie. It was like, it took me a moment. I'm like, wait, what are they playing? But that was definitely what it was.
Of all the things they could have played.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
I was like, that was a fun little nod.
All right.
And then almost
Oh.
immediately after that, because this was like a little banter time. It was like, not that the show is long already, but let's have some fun. So Jimmy Kimmel's sidekick from his show, Guillermo, was there, and he's in the audience, and he is like, I gave everyone tequila, and I'm drinking margaritas with Coleman Domingo, but he said his name wrong. I forget what it was like. Some
Domingo, like he made messed up, but it was still,
it was
Guillermo,
very
it's very
funny.
cute. Yeah.
Well, it was on purpose. I mean, it was like however he said it. And then he's like, and I want to do a toast with everyone. And Jimmy was like, we don't have time for that. And he's like, yes. And then he like starts naming everyone.
Like individual toast.
And also naming everyone wrong. And also my wife, Charlize Theron, or like whatever.
And she's like, whoa, she looked gorgeous.
She's a star.
You know what I loved? None of your tequila lovers are not out there, but it was like mini bottles of 1942 with straws in them. I was like, where do I get those?
Well, that also, like, that's going to be a real fun audience about 10 minutes after that,
like,
right?
Everybody got shots of 1942 tequila. That could not have been cheap. I mean, they look like miniature size versions of the big expensive bottles.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Like Christmas ornament size?
Not bigger than that. Like,
Not too much bigger than that, Catherine. Honestly, it was like there's a straw, and I thought you take one like. That's it? Like, love the tequila with Guillermo. Okay, so then we had 2 new announcers come out.
correct. We had Kate McKinnon. I think they introduced them backstage. So it was America Ferrera and Kate McKinnon.
Yes.
Or we saw them backstage? I can't remember.
Because they were both in Barbie together. So
Yes.
that's sort of why they were coming out to present as a team.
Right. And then they came out and they did a very funny bit with Steven Spielberg where Kate was basically saying she thought that the Jurassic Park movies were documentaries. And she was like,
Real.
what? And then Steven Spielberg was like,
She turns, Dr. Spielberg, is this true?
It was, and he played along,
Yeah.
which was very funny.
I
He
had
obviously
I
been
can only
prepped.
imagine he probably was aware of.
Oh, he had to be prepped.
Yeah,
'cause he
prepped.
knew exactly what to do. And then her punchline was, but then who have I been sending my tasteful nudes to? Like, you know, because that's what it was. She was like, but then is Jeff Goldblum real? And they're like, no, he's not real either. And then she says, but
Dr.
then-
Ian Malcolm.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, she did call him Jeff Goldblum, so that was even funnier. That
Well,
it was
that
like,
doesn't
no,
make any
him as the
sense.
person is not real. And so she says, then who have I been sending my tasteful nudes to? And Steven Spielberg is like, me. And she's like, you're welcome. It was a funny bit.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. And so they were presenting Best Documentary Short.
Which, of course, is why she was like, I thought the Jurassic Park movies were documentaries. And they were like, no.
Yeah, that was the bit. It was fun. It was cute. So the movie that won was The Last Repair Shop.
Which had you seen it or were just aware of it?
I mean, am I going to get in trouble? I did not see it, but I watched.
I've had every intention of watching that. I just didn't have 40 minutes this afternoon to fire that off. But I did actually watch the Napui one, that 2 old ladies one, and I was like, Mom needs a friend.
No.
Okay.
She has a lot of friends.
I know,
actually.
but like,
Our
no,
mom has
mom
a
does
lot
not.
of friends.
she needs like a live-in friend. That would
What
be
are
so
you
much
encouraging, Ed?
relief.
No. Okay, so I had watched an interview that was done about it.
Oh,
So I was aware of it because it's basically about inner city kids and band and chorus and music and instruments and basically being to repair these instruments. Because I guess
Yeah, when they got up to speak about it, it was very moving. And you're like,
Oh,
this is so great. And the little girl who went up,
Portia, I mean, she got up and at one point she's standing behind the guy. I'm like, somebody tell her to move over so we can see her in her beautiful blue gown. Like, move over. And then she's just standing there with her little purse and holding the Oscar. It was like half her size, basically. So cute. So, it's speaking about, keeping the arts in school. So it's so important. And
Yeah.
I think it's well worth a watch. It's a documentary short. So it's, it's not even a full hour of your time or commitment. So it's worth watching. So. And then they stayed out to do Best Documentary Feature.
Yes. And the winner was 20 Days in Mariupol, which is the Ukrainian documentary film about the beginning of the war. The director who spoke about it was
Very
so
articulate and
eloquent.
passionate, yeah.
And I mean, his main thing was he wished that he had never had to make this movie, that
Right.
none of this had happened and there was no reason to ever make this.
I
But
mean,
yeah.
talk about they get up there and, it's the team that made this movie. Incredibly good looking people. So first, like, what? And then he was very serious and very, articulate and compassionate and really had a message.
very moving.
And they
Yeah.
did not play him off because he
No,
was
he was-
definitely one of the longer speeches.
For sure.
Which I think they felt like, tonally,
Let him go.
we have to stick with this. So they stuck with it. All right, so then...
Well, wait, who voted for what?
I got that half right.
Oh, half
And that
right.
was it. Everybody
Okay.
else
Okay,
did
on
not.
short and documentary,
No
none of
vote.
us, no votes. No.
Liz got documentary short. I got half documentary feature.
Okay, great.
Okay, all
That's
right.
We're keeping track of a ballot that we all voted on.
Yes.
So there you go. Okay, so we are now, like I said, if you just joined us, we are recapping the Oscars, the 96th Oscars Academy
Why
Awards.
is 96 so hard to say?
Because it's like 96th. So it's just, but Academy Awards, we watched it live on the West Coast. It's still airing here now on its second run, but East Coast is done. You're probably most likely in bed if you're joining, you've watched it already. Okay, so cinematography.
So Zendaya came out as the presenter for cinematography.
Damn, was that a
tight? It seemed very tight, that dress. But
she looked gorgeous.
She's beautiful,
She's
young lady.
Quite the run with all the Dune 2 press going on and amazing outfits and looking incredible. We do a podcast all about Dune that I think's coming out in about a week or so.
Hopefully we'll get it out sooner than that.
Yeah,
Ed and I have to turn it around.
Yeah. But
and then do this one as well. But yeah.
Yeah, but we love Dune, so I love seeing Zendaya up there. So she was doing cinematographer.
Yes, and Oppenheimer was the winner. The cinematographer talked about having shot it on film, or cellulose, as he referred to it.
Celluloid.
Celluloid? Oh, cellulose? Is that some kind of
cellulose?
Organic plant material, that kind of thing.
Okay, so
not cellulite, that's something else. Okay.
Entirely
different. Yeah, so I thought it was a good speech. I mean, I wasn't.
Now you're starting to get into those categories of editor, cinematography. They're winning Oppenheimer. That starts to make you feel like, are we getting
snowball?
Yeah.
Feeling.
Okay.
Like, oh, okay.
But it was. I thought not surprising. Did you guys vote for? Think any other movie should have won that category or intrigued you?
Well, Katherine voted Oppenheimer. I half voted Oppenheimer.
Half.
Okay.
John, in your two ballads of what you think will win and what you want to win.
It's
just
true.
clarifying for anybody who's like, how come he gets 2 votes? That's why he's got 2.
Because I wanted 2 votes.
Yeah.
Liz and Ed both went Poor Things.
Oh, did you?
Yes, because I did think, once again, it was sort of world creating, very different.
Well, it's also, if whoever may have seen it or whenever you do see it, there is an experience that you're going through in that film where it changes. And that's a language that you got to do. And it doesn't disturb the movie. That's part of cinematography, is being able to do that without it being disruptive to the movie. Like Wes Anderson can do that too, where he'll have a full-on square right in the middle of the frame and there's nothing else, and that's the feature. And then it cuts to another scene, and that's widescreen, and then it switches on you, indicating something.
Also, Poor Things was... I don't know if it was a send-up of Wizard of Oz, but it was black and white, and then there was color aspects of it as well. So that takes a very unique eye to be able to see how we're framing this and lighting it, and everything's going to have to happen to both those, black and white to color in a film. Okay, so
next category was live action short. And that was presented by Rami Youssef, who was in Poor Things, and Issa Rae, who was in both American Fiction and Barbie. She was President Barbie.
She's had a year.
Yeah, she's doing great.
It's one of my biggest bummed moments because the winner was Wes Anderson's short.
The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar.
Wes Anderson won, and he wasn't there.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude.
Come on.
I don't know if he just didn't feel like he had a chance. I'm not sure why he wasn't there, because he has only won, I think, one previous time for a writing Oscar. So it's like, I was bummed.
I did like Jimmy Kimmel's little joke afterwards, because of course they do the whole like, oh, can't be here, and take the Oscar off stage, and then Jimmy Kimmel comes back on and he says, he couldn't be here because he was making a diorama out of corduroy. So I was like, that was a good joke.
That was a very quick, funny joke.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like that.
This is actually his first Academy Award. He's been nominated, but he had not won.
Not Grand Budapest.
no.
Nothing won in Grand Budapest.
He was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, and Original Screenplay, but did not win.
So this was his first, and he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Wes. Come on.
I was bummed about that because I would have loved to see him there. Okay, so then there was like almost like a palate cleanser moment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. So John Mulaney came out and he was presenting for Best Sound. And he basically did a mini stand-up routine.
A nice tight 2 minutes.
Yeah, it was great. It was
movie entertainment themed. Mm-hmm. He looked great, but it was sort of like a little stand-up right in the middle of the Oscars.
It was like a mini monologue moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great, though. And then he presented sound, which the winner was The Zone of Interest. Mm-hmm. So,
which I would almost think was an upset against something like Oppenheimer and some of these other big pictures.
I would think so, too, yeah.
Yeah, everybody actually, except for you, Liz, went Oppenheimer for this. You did Mission Impossible.
Okay, another big picture, which I just thought, those are the type of explosions and all those elements
a lot of times the big ones.
So Zone of Interest, which we talked about previously. Yeah. So then...
Well, here, just just going back for short
Yeah.
film, we did actually, quite a few of us did the Wes Anderson, except for Katherine and half of me.
Well, and I will say the reason I didn't do the Wes Anderson was
Voted.
I no voted because when I was reading it, I didn't recognize any of the categories, which also I can't read. So that because you had talked about the Wes Anderson.
You're dyslexic. You can read, but you're dyslexic.
Yes. So when I'm reading things, sometimes it's not penetrating like what I'm actually.
Got to put pictures in, Ed.
Yeah.
Next year, you get it.
For all 60 things or however many. It's a lot.
Okay.
Because you had talked about the Wes Anderson shorts, so it would have been the only shorts I even knew about. So, but I didn't even connect that that's what it was when I was trying to read this.
You also know about jorts.
Jorts.
Very
Okay.
true. Okay, so now
right.
we have a great break in the just, rolling through the categories of Ryan Gosling getting from an audience seat in a pink tuxedo singing I'm Just Ken, the song from Barbie.
Which was a fantastic moment because it was almost turned into karaoke by the end, right? I mean, they
So
put
he
the words up on the. I mean, you guys don't.
We don't know, or
So
I
they
don't.
didn't watch.
So basically, first of all, it was an homage to Madonna's / Marilyn Monroe's
The Material Girl video,
Right.
Because they're like up on stage.
Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend.
Right. So but it's guys. So it's all
tuxedos,
guys.
yeah.
And then
Fosse.
about halfway through the song, a lot of the Kens from the movie join in, and they're dancing in the background, which was amazing. So Simu Liu was there, and a couple of them.
Yeah,
were
it was
in there.
fantastic.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Then he went down and worked the crowd and got everybody all involved.
that
And-
was more the karaoke moment. Yeah,
It was a 10 out of 10. And he sounded actually great.
It was a Ken out of Ken.
and it was a Ken out of Ken.
Ed!
Yeah.
It was a 10 out of 10. Okay, I mean, I did think it was, he nailed it because Bradley Cooper was a good example of an actor having to sing is all fine, multiple takes, not live, you're doing the movie. Oh, I'm going to now have to sing this at the Oscars, telecast out to billions of people or a billion plus people.
I thought that went well when he did it.
It did. I mean, Bradley Cooper's song from The Star Is Born was
Well,
much
yeah.
more
Him
intense and intimate. And he was like,
Well,
Hugging
and it was
Lady
also,
Gaga. Yeah.
yes, they had an intimate on-screen relationship.
yeah. Ryan Gosling was just working the whole crowd. Just
Yeah.
embraced it. But he actually sounded very good. And Mark Ronson, who was playing the guitar next to him, who composed the song, it was great.
It was a good moment.
Like I said, it was 10 out of 10.
And did like the embarrassed face that Billie Eilish had on her right behind him, because that's how they were all set up. It was Margot Robbie in front. He's seated in the audience. He starts a song. He motions to Margot. They have their little moment. But in the background, you could see Billy's like, "Oh my God, I don't want to be a camera. Why am I in this shot?"
Yeah,
Okay.
Margot was laughing. She
Yeah.
was already like, this is hysterical.
All right, so then came out. This was like a promo, and they embraced it. It was the two lead actresses that are going to be in the production of Wicked.
Right. So we got Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande.
And she was wearing all green.
Yeah.
And
Ariana Grande in
very
all
pink,
Yeah.
puffy, princess look.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yes, it does.
Veruca Salt much?
No, I was really like, that is
No,
the characters.
turning into the blueberry from Willy Wonka. That's what she looked like.
She was turning into Pinkberry.
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were very in character from Wicked. Even their
Fun.
voices, their bit was very in character from Wicked.
It was a promotional thing, really. So they were best original score, and I don't necessarily know if that's a surprise to anybody. Oppenheimer.
4.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
4.5 out of 5.
4 out of 5, excuse me. Because I'm two people.
Oh,
but
you're
yes.
just confusing everybody. Okay.
So as long as when you say 4 out of 5, I'm one of the 4.
Yeah, okay.
There isn't anyone out of the 5 who isn't in this room.
John, I think you like this composer because it's his second win.
I do like him, yes. I mean, this, he goes back, he did Black Panther.
Right, Black Panther.
There's some television show that he did a fantastic job on that I'm spacing on at the moment, but I'm going to look up.
Look it up.
And I did like how he said to Christopher Nolan, you encourage the main instrument or the focus of, these scores
violin.
would be the violin. And that was his wife. So he's able to work with his wife on this score, which I thought was a really cool shout out.
Yeah, I don't know if-
Ludwig
Göransson?
Yes.
Is that right, John?
I think that's close enough.
Great.
Okay.
So
Great.
he's fabulous.
Well, I gave it a shot.
So then we get into, John, if you find the show he did, just
chime
shout it
in.
out. Okay, so best song. Now, I thought there was no stopping the momentum of Billie Eilish, but she was going to make history if she won because it was basically, was it 2 years in a row or second time?
Definitely second time, not in
And
a row,
also
though.
youngest.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas were nominated for their song from Barbie.
What Was I Made For?
Yeah.
I know. I've been humming it all night. Just that little bit. I can't. It's really, yeah.
So, I mean, Billie Eilish has a very unique way she sings. Mm-hmm. There's very rarely, it's kind of stays in his out. But
Yeah.
very haunting, beautiful song. Fit the soundtrack perfectly.
Well, and had such a good moment and message
Yeah.
within the film.
So, I mean, homeschooling, man, shout out to that.
I don't
Because-
know if that's 100% accurate.
I know, because then I thought that's always been the narrative about them. They were homeschooled and they could just really focus on a lot of their creative, interests. But then they talked about like a teacher who didn't think she was talented. I'm like, wait, are we talking about
Well,
like
maybe it was like certain parts of their
Right.
schooling.
I don't
Like,
know.
Not all
I don't know.
homeschooled all the time. What, John?
No.
Did you figure it out?
Sure. Just to go from where we are. Liz, you were the only person who selected What Was I Made For. All the rest of us selected other things. But yes, for Ludwig, it was, most importantly, I suppose, is Mandalorian.
Oh, well, hello. Yeah, that's a fantastic soundtrack.
But only slightly less important, New Girl.
Obviously.
How did he make that leap? Wow. Okay.
That's amazing.
He's very talented.
Wow. Okay. And I will say, like, Billie Eilish, she's said this in the press. She's like, man, if you're nominated for things like this, you got to be prepared. You got to get up there. You can't flub. You can't mess around. This entire award season, she's won, acted shocked, had nothing to say. What is happening here?
Which is interesting because a lot of times live performers do really well at these things. They're pretty good at
I think she is shy, but I mean,
but not. It really kind of threw her.
yeah, but they won, rightfully so. It had tons of momentum behind them. Worked perfectly for the Barbie film. So
I don't want to pigeonhole her, but that seems to be what she's made for, Billie Eilish.
I knew it was going to do something.
no,
Okay,
yeah.
I knew you were going to. Okay, and I will.
You love my jokes.
And I will say, but who won the night for performances, in my opinion, of performing their songs live, was Ryan Gosling.
Oh, that was the big performance.
So
of
fun,
of all the
so
songs,
entertaining.
That was
Yeah.
a big one.
Incredible.
Ed and Catherine, that was their song choice.
Yeah, I did
Oh.
think that just because it had so much fun and
They
within.
don't do a fun song. Are
I
you
know.
crazy?
And so
that was
unique.
a bad
I mean-
choice because of that. But I thought it was so fun that maybe it could.
Because also it was, okay, Billie Eilish, her song was played over, the Barbie character acting. No one sang it.
Which might, I think, had an impact on how good people thought that song was.
Right.
That was an amazing scene with Margot Robbie.
yeah, that's true.
Where you had Ken actually performing it during the movie as the character Ken. They were different. Yeah. So, all right. So then that went into the, always the sad part. It's
In Memoriam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was sung by Andrea Bocelli
And his son.
Matteo.
Who's taller than him and sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Sorry.
Time
I'm getting a
to-
note to stay on mic. Okay.
Don't worry, you have
Last
been.
hour and a half. Don't
Yeah,
worry
it's
about
been. There's a
All
lot
the
of
way
it.
over here.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Well, and they saying that,
I could
very
move it over a little bit. That would have been good.
Pull a Liz.
time ago.
Just adjust it.
just okay. So
Lots of noise. Sorry.
So they
Okay.
did sing
Is that better?
"Time to Say Goodbye," which is the classic Andrew Bocelli. I actually have seen him perform that live, and it was incredible. And
he is amazing.
Yeah, so-
and that's an amazing song. Just heart wrenching and moving, and yeah.
so, and then they show pictures of all aspects of the entertainment. So in front of and behind the cameras, and even some of the business people. So that was
I
always
did appreciate this year how they actually had many of them up at the same time, because sometimes somebody's up there for like 4 seconds and you're like, who's that? Who's this next person? That person's huge. Why do they get 2 seconds?
Yeah.
So them like giving some more breath to all of these by having their own panels so they could be up simultaneously. I appreciated that more.
Yeah, it always seems like it's a little bit of a challenge to show everyone long enough, but also show whoever is performing that they're trying to figure out how to
and they
cover
always
all that.
There's always a couple people get left out, but that is what it is. I want to get hi Mark, who joined us, Mr. Fardeen as well, and my Dan Life and Sam Mike. So a couple people that joined us. Thank you for joining us. So not a big surprise. Best song, the Memoriam, beautiful as always. Now we're getting into the big categories, and like we said. we watched this earlier, so I don't think here in the rebroadcast, the second running of it on the West Coast, we don't want to spoil it for anybody. So if you have not seen these big categories,
somehow we ended up doing just a real time recap.
we went as long as the actual Oscars.
Well, not quite.
All right, Liz, let's wrap it up.
Without
Let's do
commercials.
the next one.
Well, I do have to say, Jimmy Kimmel at this point said there's only 4 categories left, which doesn't sound like it's going to take that long. And then it will.
Yeah,
Which he,
so-
was a funny bit.
Yeah, so we basically are now Best Actor. And they once again did the
5 presenter plan.
So they bring out 5 previous winners, and they all come out. And I'm just gonna say, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that was a funny moment. Well, so hold on. I'll just name everybody really quick.
Yeah.
So it was Brendan Fraser, Nicolas Cage, Matthew McConaughey, Ben Kingsley, and Forrest Whitaker. So those were our 5 presenters.
Yeah, so they come out, and once again, they do sort of a one-on-one little tribute to the nominees. And like I said, you got a feeling that maybe some of them knew each other and some of them didn't. Nicolas Cage's was amazing for Paul Giamatti's Holdovers. He talked about how he was so committed and did the faux eye and was
The
blind.
contact over one
And he's
eye.
like, would I do that for a film? I absolutely would. Like, just Nicolas Cage being Nick. Just love him.
It was great.
And Matthew McConaughey was so tan. Where did he just come from? Were his kids on spring break?
When is he not tan?
He's always tan.
All right. Brendan Fraser, hello. God, I mean, talk about a resurrection, brought back. He's on the stage again. Just incredible.
Yeah.
So, like we said, spoilers. If you're rewatching the Oscars, we don't want to ruin anything for anybody.
Or watching it now on the rewatch.
Right.
Or if you haven't watched the last decade of Oscars and now we've ruined those,
Oh, yes.
Oh, God.
1990,
No.
1996
Some of these people have won.
leaving Las Vegas.
No. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the winner, and I think this is another probably Vegas odds-on favorite. I really do.
Was Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer.
I don't know. I mean, Paul really was the
Yes.
early front runner, won a couple early things.
Yeah.
I didn't quite track what happened later. I went half and half, but you and I did also choose Cillian.
Yeah. I know Paul had some momentum and interest, and supposedly the performance was fantastic. But Cillian, for some reason, seemed to be... He's a beloved actor that normally plays supporting. He's been in a lot of Christopher Nolan films, Batman, Inception. People love him in Peaky Blinders.
Yep.
So I think he's like one of those darlings that has never been given his dues, whereas Paul Giamatti has gotten a lot of awards throughout his life. And so I felt like the Academy and the industry was sort of... And Cillian comes off an Irishman, very humble, very team player, very, grateful for this opportunity. I thought this is going to be given to him for all those reasons and for the performance. So I was not surprised. I was very happy he got up there and he wasn't overwhelmed and gave a very nice, concise speech.
Yeah. Who did I vote for? I don't know who I voted.
Coleman Domingo.
I really thought
God.
it's funny.
He's having
Until
a moment.
you said that, I had forgotten that that's who I voted for.
There's a little bit of news
yeah.
about him too, because John,
Yes.
how great was he in Color Purple?
Great. But he was also great in Rustin.
Right. So he's
Yeah.
having a moment both on the carpet and on camera. Incredible.
yeah.
Like, I don't really know if I knew who he was 2 years ago, although he was probably a working actor, but just not having these more substantial roles.
I would say John and I know him pretty well from the Walking Dead franchise.
Oh, there you
He's
go.
in there.
Yes, my
Yeah.
husband did.
He came up in the spinoff. That was kind of one of somewhat of his breakthrough moments
Yeah.
of Fear the Walking Dead.
Well, fantastic actor, having his moment. And what's coming up is he's going to be in the film about Michael Jackson's life, and he's going to play the dad.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
And I was like, ooh, based on what was Color Purple,
Yeah, which was tough.
he can pull that off. Because Color Purple, he was
Mean.
despicable. Not
Yeah.
beloved. That's for damn sure. Another Oprah beloved. Reels get it?
Ooh, very nice.
Boom. So, okay. Hi, Nicole and Annie Niece, who joined us. Hello. So, yeah, I mean, I just feel like Cillian was not a surprise. Well deserved, but not a surprise. It was not. He was like, yeah, okay. So that is.
I would have loved to have seen Coleman Domingo, though. That would have been really cool.
That would have been a total upset.
Rustin was fantastic.
yeah.
So that's a film you should watch, Rustin, as well. And The Holdovers is fantastic as well, and got an award for Best Supporting Actress. So there you go. Now out comes Steven Spielberg, who is basically, you know, I mean, that is the godfather of directing at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
Him and Marty.
Yeah.
Comes out.
When they were setting up, doing the intro without saying who it was, I did think it was going to be Martin Scorsese coming out. Because
for Best Picture, they really misled us.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. But so, yeah, it was very interesting that I was like, oh, it could have been either, but it was Steven Spielberg.
So here comes Best Director. I think it's interesting, some of the nominees. John, do you have the nominees in front of you? Or
Sure. So Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest.
And I mean, the big upset, people were so shocked that Greta Gerwig did not get for Barbie.
Yeah.
And then also didn't win the screenplay category either. So, you know, one in the pocketbook, people, but, you know, the awards, and they did win some awards, but the Oscars, they were not really, besides the song. I don't know if they took home anything. So this was one of those categories that I felt like Christopher Nolan had such momentum. It was like, I don't know, it would have been such an upset. So Christopher Nolan took home Best Director from Steven Spielberg, presenting it to him.
Which is interesting. I guess
Steven
he's been
Spielberg
nominated.
brought his award with him, and then Christopher Nolan
recycled,
took it from him. He's like, this is mine now.
upcycled it. Well, you're about to say.
Yeah, I was just about to say, he's been nominated 8 times, and this is his first win. Christopher Nolan.
I was shocked by that.
8 times is a lot.
Well, but you have to remember, I mean, he's had box office success, he's had indie success. This is one of the few that's really dovetailed with both mainstream and critical success, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was nominated probably for Inception, but who knows who he's up against that year, because that can be just hard of like who you are up against.
But that I don't feel like was getting quite the critical reception that this got.
Oh, okay. And then, you know, Martin Scorsese, that he did not get for the movie this year. People were kind of shocked because it was such a huge epic film.
Yeah.
You know? Everybody's like, no,
Well, there were a couple jokes. I mean, throughout, there were a couple jokes about it being very, very long.
I think it's also just tough because from him you expect a just 3,000% masterpiece. So if there's anything like, well, it's not as good as your best, so then I guess maybe we're not going to vote for it because you could be better.
Which is a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, his own bar has been set.
Maybe.
It's hard.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So Christopher Nolan got up and, of course, thanked his producing partner, his wife, Emma Thompson.
Thomas.
Emma Thomas. And there's a lot of Emmas tonight. Emma Stone.
Well, it was
I know you
that
almost
was
did
the
it
whole
again.
thing.
Oh my gosh. Can't keep all my M's straight. So I just think Christopher Nolan was, you know, charming, and the idea that he'd been nominated 8 times and finally got a win, because nothing's guaranteed in this industry at all. So, you know, that you get something that's successful and you get nominations, it's like, oh gosh, you know, because he's so in-depthly involved in his projects. It's like exhausting to think about next time. But, you know, I did repeatedly think like Bradley Cooper's just sitting there like, what does it take, people?
I know.
Well, it's tough. He's done it once, so, you know,
He's
this one
the
it wasn't.
multiple, you know, on a project. Producer, actor, writer, director.
Don't start doing the Bernstein voice.
I did. Director, writer, actor, singer.
Which hand has the cigarette, though?
Oh, yeah, that was so much of this. I mean, I don't know what it is lately. I've watched quite a few things. The
There were a
swans on
couple.
TV,
Yeah.
the smoking. I mean, it's a time period thing. And then they'll be like,
But
why do I have cancer? You're like, let me give you a hint. And they'll be right back from the doctor like, I'm so ill. And you're like, put down the cigarette. Like, no one had a clue. Oh, God. So, yes, but his portrayal was awesome. But, I mean, he's another one, like a Christopher Nolan, Bradley Cooper, you know, 100% committed, gives up his life for years for a project, one subject. And you're like, he didn't get nominated for Best Director.
But he got Best Picture. I mean, so look, he's getting some.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
But so, yes, you, Liz, Katherine, and half of me got Oppenheimer for directing.
all right.
Poor thing still.
Okay.
I mean, if I've liked a thing and I'm going to stick in that lane and I have opinions about Oppenheimer and other ones, I'm like, of all those, that's I'm sticking with the one that I've gone in all the categories.
Well,
I'm going to get it wrong, and I'm going to get half as many correct as everyone else, and I'm going to no-vote a bunch of stuff, and Liz is going to totally beat me on those.
No, but both of those, you know, Poor Things and Oppenheimer were based on a book. But the idea of what the originality of Poor Things. Like Oppenheimer, even in school, we can study about Oppenheimer and what happened, right? So it wasn't such a foreign topic idea, who the person was, the atom bomb. I'm like, we kind of knew about it. Poor Things was like, I didn't know this was a book. I didn't know where this came from.
Yeah.
And so the direction of it was so unique that I can see why you thought that,
And he's award-winning previously. Didn't he win for The Favorite? I mean...
It won some things, yes.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Award-winning directors against each other. It's a crapshoot.
Yeah,
I do
hard
want
to
to say
say.
the Vegas odds, if I had a parlay that said first time winning for Wes and
Christopher Nolan.
yeah, I'd be in the money right now.
In the money.
I'm still so bummed Wes Anderson wasn't there to get his award because I for sure thought he had won before, so that this was his first win and he wasn't there, and some quirky, unique, ill-fitted tuxedo, and his hair was all
tuxedo.
like, oh, come on. Seeing his ankles in the tuxedo, probably, come on. Bums me out. Okay.
Purple socks.
So now this was...
What, John?
Hopefully Bill Murray would have accepted it as Steve Zissou.
That would have been amazing.
I would have loved that too.
In the full outfit.
He should have said someone in his place. Absolutely. Okay.
Just a red beanie. I would have taken a red beanie in his place.
Totally. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, this...
Now we're on to Best Actress.
Which is so funny. Best Supporting Actress is the absolute first award they announced, and Best Actress is basically second to last.
It's an odd stack.
Yeah. Okay. So Best Actress. This was one of those categories. Why don't you talk? Do we know who's nominated?
Sure. Okay. So what order I'm doing this in doesn't make any sense, but theoretically, anyway, we're gonna start. Annette Bening in Nyad, Carey Mulligan in Maestro, Emma Stone in Poor Things, Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, and Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall.
Right. There you go. Okay, so we again had the 5 presenter setup. So we had Michelle Yeoh, Sally Fields, Jennifer Lawrence, Charlize Theron, and Jessica Lange.
Once again, very intense. They came out, gave one another one-on-one speeches. What was so interesting? I was like, where the hell is Halle Berry? Because diversity in people of color in these lead nominations and wins is very rare. I hope Halle Berry is working and could not come. I cannot imagine she was not invited as one of the options.
You would think.
Because she is the only black woman that's ever won a Best Actress award. So why she wasn't up there representing, I imagine, hopefully she's working. It was booked.
Yeah.
But
come.
It showed the kind of there's not a lot of diversity in that winning category. So now we have what most people thought was Lily Gladstone was going to win. The sweeping portrayal of based on real life character, and she was the heart and soul of the movie. So a lot of people thought, and there is kind of a push for more diversity in wins, but 4
out of 5 of us thought that as well.
Yeah. So this I do think was an upset. Even I'm not saying I think it was an amazing performance. I just think it was an upset.
So it was Emma Stone. Emma Stone. And I think
she looked... Should I do it?
Yeah.
Say the name like
so this. She looked incredibly shocked. So here, we're going to do the envelope. Ready? Emma Stone. I mean, she looked like her stomach flipped over inside her belly. She almost not fainted, but was visibly
stunned.
Stunned.
She was visibly stunned. Because I do think it was one of those things that, when they say the Vegas odds and the momentum and the press and the push has all been for Lily Gladstone.
Yeah.
So it was like, what? So, because Emma did win for, I think she won a Golden Globe, because that's broken up in 2 categories. It's comedy and drama. And then I think she might have won in an Indie Award. So she had some award wins through this season, but it really seemed like the big Oscar award was going to be Lily Gladstone.
Yeah.
So
I mean, all season, that's what it seemed like.
Yes, it did. So she was legitimately stunned. So,
and gave a beautiful, very frantic and slightly cry-y speech.
She did not pull the pull out of the bra, the little, she did not seem to have a speech prepared. No. But she's given a few speeches winning this season. So, I think she went into automated mode, oh my gosh, get through this. So I thought, because I just watched Poor Things, and she was fantastic, and it is such an odd premise, and she pulls it off. I mean, she's incredible in it because it could be that role and that film in the wrong hands could be considered something entirely. It could be like Showgirls. I mean, you're like,
really doesn't. It could just have had the wrong tone or energy, or just one weird performance from someone would have just that's tipping the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly. So Emma Stone, well deserved, but it was an upset. Oh, and she looked shocked.
She looked shocked. Also, when she got up there, she was like, the back of my dress is ripped open. Don't look at the back of my dress. I don't think she realized that there was a liner and you couldn't like see skin or anything. Yeah. You couldn't, but it was like, oh yeah, there was a rip in the back of the dress.
It was kind of her Jennifer Lawrence moment when Jennifer Lawrence fell. And listen, she was so stunned. She's like hugging everybody. Jennifer Lawrence is crying.
She's like, what do I do?
Very sweet. They're like, go to the microphone and
she's
talk.
She's like, oh, okay. Yeah, it was a frantic energy.
And she's been nominated 5 times. And this is her first win.
No, she has won already. La La Land.
They said as she was walking up, La La Land.
I was wrong, people. Finally, I get something wrong tonight.
Yeah, this is the first thing you've ever gotten.
I've gotten wrong.
This is her first nomination and her first win.
Oh, my. A little more shouts to hi, Brandon, and Keen Marsh, and Baggery. Jerry. I might have already said that wrong. I'm not sorry. But hi, thank you for joining us. Okay. Thank
Better
you for joining
than
us
I would
on,
do, for sure.
What we're watching, and we were watching the Oscars. So we are down to the last category.
The last category.
We've given so many disclaimers about like spoiler alert if you're not watching this live, if you watch it live, East Coast, West Coast. But now we're down to the last big thing. So full warning, we're about to say what the best picture win was.
Which, of course, you could totally find out so easily. All right,
but
go
on. First have to back up. Because, it's always like, well, who's going to present that? And it's usually a director or usually a very famous actor or actress. It's not necessarily tied to the person from the year before. Sometimes it can be. It's a little more unpredictable.
Yeah, the actor is almost always tied to the year before, but some of the other categories are just
It's
whatever.
almost like Best Pictures, like what's the biggest star we can get to present this? And then you have like the flub-ups of like, Warren Beatty with, like saying the wrong envelope, because they're trying to get sort of like the iconic members of the Academy. So when Jimmy Kimmel was saying who was coming out, I thought it was going to be
Robert De Niro.
De Niro.
For some reason, the way the intro was, he was an icon or however the wording was.
You thought, okay.
Because I love when they like do all this setup and then they say the name. So you have the whole setup to like think it's someone else.
And then they're like, Al Pacino.
And because Robert De Niro, we'd seen multiple times
like
in the audience.
How
we had
convenient.
Not seen Al Pacino at all.
No, they kept Al Pacino in his dressing room under wraps to surprise everybody.
It was a real
So he comes out, all disheveled.
And shuffly and hunched over. Okay.
And, so he just...
Salome!
Oh, Ed.
You know what it was, too? Oh, sorry. Yes.
I mean, does anybody know that, Roberts? Because he actually did start to almost do a bit of Shakespeare, and he's like, no, stop. I mean, it was like a little crazy.
It was a little wackadoodle.
So he actually was in a production where was it, John, that we went to?
It's like Westwood.
Yeah, I think it is the Geffen Theater now.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it was a live reading of
Salome,
and Jessica Chastain.
Yes, Jessica Chastain.
So we were like front row, is very intense, but they were kind of holding scripts. So he'd be like, Salome. I mean, you're like, what the fuck is happening? I feel like it was so crazy. Everybody else was doing like, you real to be or not to be speech. No, my God, like doing real Shakespearean. He was just doing Al Pacino up there. And he really emphasized Salome. Like, it was just like, that's the reference Eddie said. Sorry.
He did later do a film and like a documentary version of that as well.
So he really likes it.
Apparently.
Okay. And Jessica Chastain, this was before she was literally known at all. Like she hadn't even done that Brad Pitt that movie where she plays the wife. It's so long ago.
Tree of Life.
Thank you.
I think, it was one of those things where you feel like, oh yeah, I think I'm seeing someone before they're a star.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
She was
you had said she was amazing. Yeah.
Committed, fabulous. You're like, I don't know who this girl is with her red hair and fabulous. So Al Pacino sort of comes out.
Well, wait, just before that, Jimmy Kimmel had made a joke that like, oh, he was able to get a babysitter, which also worked for Robert De Niro because he just also had a child recently with his young-ish spouse. So I totally was still on board with the
men
Robert
of a certain
De Niro.
age, God bless them, becoming dads again. It's like, all right.
I mean, it's exhausting.
So I did go, Robert De Niro. I mean,
nope, Al Pacino. Surprise, Al Pacino.
So he comes out, and there's been 10 films nominated. Do you want to say the films, John?
If you'd like me
Yeah,
to,
just
sure.
do it.
Well, here, it's really nice for you to say the films because what Liz is about. Okay,
just
go
do
ahead.
it.
So American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things.
Now,
Just as a reminder, throughout the show, we have seen clips of all of these nominated movies. So, but they've been interspersed, and but now it's time for the actual win.
it would be nice to be reminded
Yeah, it is funny. They don't do that. They're like, you saw it through the whole movie. Or
because
through the
it's
whole
10
show.
films. It seems odd they don't repeat it very quickly of like what they are.
Would
Because
you like this to be a 6-hour telecast?
well, it shouldn't take that long. Okay, so because basically Al Pacino,
he was. I mean, I'm not gonna.
it felt like he was effing it up because he's just like, all right, I got the envelope. Who's the winner? I'm going to open it now. You're like, wait, who was nominated again? Wait a minute.
Start over.
I was.
Al, where's the pomp? Where's the circumstance?
Nope.
I'm
None
in
of
the
that.
dark here.
And for those of you who just joined us, truly yours, Sheba and Charlie. Hi, Charlie. Hi. We're about to say the Best Picture winner. So if you don't know it,
Plug your
I
ear.
don't know. Sorry, but like we already watched the earlier feed. Okay. So when he was saying like he didn't recap the names of the best pictures, I thought, oh my God, he effed it up because it was just so quick. And he's like,
Well, also like his vibe felt like he was
very casual,
kind of messing it up.
very relaxed.
I was definitely waiting for more speech to happen.
No.
And then I kind of like went, oh, people are coming up. Oh, he said the name. That was the, okay.
I felt like the audience was even like, oh, well, that's it. Okay.
We did it.
And
Oh.
the winner was
Oppenheimer.
not a big surprise at this point.
I mean, I thought it was the best movie, so it made sense to me.
Okay.
When that run started where they started to get awards, because in the beginning when we were like, oh, I guess,
Poor Things is having
Poor
a little
Things
bit of
is
run,
really
yeah.
having its moment. And then it
Zone
kind
of
of switched.
interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oppenheimer, the way, the current changed in their favor and they wrote it and they won Best Picture. And I would have been so surprised if they didn't. It would have been such an upset. We all would have been like, Al Pacino, hold up that envelope. Are you right for
Are you
sure?
sure?
Are you sure? And the whole cast came up and the producer, Emma Thomas, which is the wife of Christopher Nolan, gave the speech. And the producing partner with glasses, it looked like racquetball glasses behind them, was literally chomping at the bit to get on that mic.
Like he couldn't wait for her to finish up because
Because Christopher Nolan gave his speech for Best Director. Like he got to talk.
He felt like it felt like he was like, fine, I don't need to chime in. So it was really like her stage, and she didn't seem super planned. So it was a little bit slow and meandering.
Yeah.
Had a couple moments that were like, is she
and the
done?
other guy
No,
is
not
like,
done.
The other guy's like right, like
I mean, he was so close. He was like ready to get in there
because you're so afraid the music's going to start and you're not going to get your 90 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever it's going to be at that point. So, and he's been their long-term producing partner for 20 years. So he's been on this ride of.
He has had a speech ready 7 times. People.
Yes, exactly.
Let's talk about the following.
Oh, exactly. Oh my gosh. Did anybody talk about that?
Well, that's like one of his first movies.
ones.
I know. I'm just saying.
all right.
John, I was with you. Sharp. I was quick. I was with you. Come on. So really, the big winners of the night.
Memento Mori, I got it.
Yes.
Just like Mary Kill Mon with their Post-it notes everywhere. Oh, that's like Memento, isn't
Mine are just mentally okay. Okay. So the big winners of the night were Poor Things,
Yep.
Zone of Interest,
Yep.
Oppenheimer. Mm-hmm. I think those were really the big ones.
Yeah.
That took home like multiple awards in their category.
All right. So what I want to know is who of the four of us was the big winner in our predictions? Was it Liz? Was it Liz? Was it me?
Liz was the runaway winner.
Runaway winner? I protest. I want a
Nearly
recount.
double at 16.
What the? I think she cheated. How did you cheat?
Because as Ed said, I lack integrity and I vote on things I don't even know about, but I just have a feeling. I got to go to Vegas, people.
You don't lack integrity. You're a cheerleader, and those are the ones that get the loudest roars. I voted my heart, and you voted.
That might be an insult.
It is.
I think
you
it
voted fucking popular. You're like, go, go, go. They didn't make it. Go, go, go. Do another touchdown. Go, go. It's cheerleading. I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes. When the captain's go, Oppenheimer, go.
Well,
I don't know if that worked, but
Should have been Barbie for that. though.
oh, Barb. Well, They didn't have enough nominations. I knew it.
Well, unfortunately, Ed, you did select them for Best Picture, and they did not win.
No.
So I did
liked what
terrible.
liked.
Is that what you're saying?
Funnily enough, we almost all basically tied with 8.
Which is really half.
I mean,
of
I
what
really
Liz
got twice
well,
as much as
no,
everyone.
honestly, 16 is super high. I think it normally kind
How
of
many categories did we even vote on?
well, all of them.
Which is how
kind of
many?
the 7 to 12 range is kind of a pretty good, like, I mean, because you consider all the ones we just ran through, even 8, it's kind of impressive for being
Yeah, I
right.
guess.
Next year, I am going to play some Vegas bets.
You
because
should.
I think I'm really good at this.
Yeah, you have a good
I
sense.
normally win this. I do.
Also, Liz, next year, why don't you do 2 ballots? That way you can have your bullshit one, and then you can have the one where you didn't
wow,
fucking
your
watch it, so
bullshit
you don't
one.
vote
He is
for that
calling you
category.
out.
Wow, intense.
Calling you
Okay.
out.
No, I'm just saying, like, why don't you have a real, like, actual
That
vote?
was my real one.
I'm
but
saying,
you're saying
why don't you vote for the things that you've watched and don't vote for things that you haven't, because that's a vibe, not an actual understanding.
But then-
in other words, if people were voting you out of Best Actress just because they didn't get the vibe, but they hadn't seen your performance, I think you might have an issue with that.
Okay.
Maybe.
For those of you that
as
were
an
not here in the
actress-
beginning where we didn't explain, we are a group of brothers
Siblings.
and sisters, siblings.
So
So
sometimes
that's
we
where
have
this annoyance level is coming from with each
irritation
other.
with each other.
I mean, this is my younger brother, so I'm just sitting
We're
here
not
going
just
like,
professionals. We're also related.
It is the 1996 Academy Awards. Oh, wait, no, 96th. Sorry.
what? Oh, my Lord.
We're dragging things back from the past.
Hi, VXELS joined us, and Dominique, hello, hi. Thank you.
Hi.
So we just recapped the 96 Oscars Academy
did
Awards. Hosted by Jimmy Kimmel. Mostly the big winners, like I said, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest. Those seem to be the big ones. Few upsets. Emma Stone, Best
Emma
Actress.
Stone, I think, was the
and
biggest
we're
upset.
largely basing that on her reaction herself.
reaction, yeah.
How shocked she
Yeah.
was. But well-deserved. Just we thought momentum was with Lily Gladstone. Overall, I think a very, light, good, get it through, non-controversial, although there were some political overtones with everything going on in the world, so not
Yeah, some of the
surprising.
speeches had moments.
Right. And they should, but it wasn't a big political show at all.
No.
So overall, it was very much Academy Awards classic viewership.
Yeah, I thought it was a good show in general.
Yes.
Yeah, good show. And, obviously my votes on our pre-ballot were very wrong.
Yes. And
yeah.
I, as the member of what we are watching, won
Yes.
twice as many guessed correctly than everybody else. So
yes.
there you go. So, all right. Well, this was super fun. I mean, we loved all of you doing this live with all of you.
That was great.
We'll go live more often and talk about all the shows we watch because we watch a lot of shows.
Yeah, so in
And-
the meantime,
Yep.
you can visit us at our Knack Entertainment YouTube channel and see all of our previous episodes. We talk about a lot of the movies that were nominated and then tons and tons of shows. So all of that is up on Knack Entertainment's YouTube channel.
I do have to say, because, we dress sort of sparkly for tonight. 'cause
I know,
these
this is not-
The guys didn't get the memo. It was just mine, so it's my fault.
My
But-
hair is sticking in.
Oh
this
my gosh, you are
jewelry
so
thing.
crunchy next
Stop
to me, too.
complaining. You got 3 more minutes.
You're
or
very crunchy with me, too.
20 seconds.
Okay, so all right, thank you for watching us, and you can follow us on all of our social, which is at Podcast Watching.
Podcast watching.
That's across all the platforms, so follow us, and individually too, Liz K. Roman.
Kath Kennedy and
You guys want to shout out your socials?
No.
I knew you'd be an enigma. I knew it.
Ed Kilmont.
There you go.
Hard to find that one.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. All right. So thank you for following us and joining us tonight. We'll go live again because this was super fun and we really appreciate all of you joining us. Oh, and the last little bit, because if you watch Jimmy Kimmel, he always says, "Oh, Matt Damon was supposed to join us.
Oh, God, yeah.
We didn't get to him." He absolutely, John. The last thing they cut to was the dog from Anatomy of a Fall
Snoop.
pissing on Matt Damon's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So
He got his
he
joke.
got it in. He got it in.
he got
So-
it in.
All right. Well, thank you
All
for
right,
following
thank you
us.
for joining us, and we'll do our standard ending that we do for
Oh, yeah.
what we're watching.
Yeah.
This is our standard ending for our podcast / YouTube show.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on
What We're Watching. All right. Now we got to figure out how we sign off.
Yeah, I don't know.
So this might
All
look
right.
awkward for a few seconds.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.